Hello, YouTube. Hi. It's been a minute because I've been trying to fix a million fires all at once. How's it going? Hi. What is happening? Oh my god. Happy Friday. Happy 4th of July. Oh, I'm probably not gonna really promote anything today because I'm tired. So we're doing minimal effort today. Like, this is the most I'm getting dressed up. I might, like, put slightly cuter pants on later. Nah, probably not. I don't really care. Oh my god, hi! Yes, I know. It's just, dude, I have just been crunching all week because, like, I have so many things to do. Just expect everything to be, like, delayed and stuff for, like, the time being, because I'm playing catch up in all aspects, and I'm also having to build 2 websites, one from scratch completely. I'm trying to get, which also just means I have to draw a million assets for things to get everything fully set up, because I wasn't planning to do this yet. And now I gotta do all of it quickly. And then thankfully my period is over, so it literally just ended though, so like I haven't been able to fucking film anything this week, so I'm gonna film a foot video tomorrow, I think, just to go easy on myself, and then see if I can squeeze another one in there, but we'll see. Anyway, yeah, so everything is delayed for that reason. It's just, yes, clown foot job. Rainbow clown foot job is what you're getting tomorrow. But yeah, it's, bro, I don't even know. Yeah, so anyway, how's it going? I've gotten so much work done. I've got a bunch new stuff up on the site. If you haven't checked that out, go look at it. It's indigowhitetv.com for my website. I will show you Teddy Chan's website on her stream later. I'll show you a little sneak peek, but right now if you go to her site, it's just a coming soon page. But that gives you the kind of vibe. It gives you the vibe of the update a little bit. This is a little teaser. Kinda. Wait, hold on. Let me grab my to-do list really fast, because go look at the websites really fast. I'll be right back. I'm not even putting the break screen up. I'm just gonna go run and grab my to-do list so we can look at that. And I can, yeah. Yeah. puppies. They're so cute. Okay. There's my pen. Okay, so... Oh, I forgot to do that. I was gonna do that. Okay, I'll do that tomorrow. I might film a clown video and a YouTube video tomorrow. Little miniature emergency update YouTube video. Yeah, the kitty hat here. Let me show you. It's finally working. I showed it to you last time, but it wasn't set up. But now it's actually set up. His little cloud. It's raining. It's very nice and peaceful. I'm enjoying it quite a lot, actually. Doesn't it feel like we're at a spa now, chat? You saw nothing over there. There's nothing. There's nothing that direction. I don't know what you're talking about. I need to clean my room. Blah. Yes, Munchie's been using it. It's very cute. Usually it's Soul using it, but you know, we'll get there. Okay. I've been making myself a to-do list every day just so I can make sure I'm getting stuff done. So today we're only doing 3 streams. I'm not doing a secret stream today. I'm fucking tired. And in order to have energy to film tomorrow, we're not doing that. Alright? Also, because people are probably busy with 4th of July, so people can just come hang out with me on Twitch. It'll be casual, it'll be chill. It'll be chill. Hello. Yeah. Also, my hair is, like, slowly becoming a better color. I know, right? Only 3 streams today. Okay, so... let me make a list for today and then also a list for Saturday. Actually, let's start with Saturday's list. So I need to do clown vid. We're doing no plot. It's just going to be a straight foot job. So we can focus on the foot and the job. Shut up, I don't know. I might also do a striptease. I might split it into 2 videos and just do 2 shorter no plot videos. Let's see. Okay. Edit YouTube. Okay. Saturday's list is written. Mostly it consists of filming and editing. Kind of boring. Listen, clown video is like increasingly more normal than anything else I make. Sorry. Yeah, anyway. Okay, so I need to set up I still need to set up the, in the paid pictures section of my website, you'll notice in the paid videos section, there is now categories above each post or each video. There should be categories that are linked so you can go to the category pages. It's not as seamless as the free videos category sections just because of how it's fucking set up. I can't nest two folders within each other, or I can't nest two drop down like categories within each other. So because the paid section is already a drop down category, I can't make more drop down categories within that without using custom code, and I just don't feel like writing code right now. So so it's not as nice looking, but it still works effectively. You can just scroll through and still find, if you only want things from a specific category, you can still easily get those, or you can use the little search bar like I've shown you before. That should be an easy way to get all of your stuff. Yes, I've made my own site all myself. Thank you. I worked hard on it. I've been working hard on it all week. I am tired. I am crunching. Yeah. No, I literally was screaming at my mom the other day because she was telling me that I needed to, like, have other people help me, and I was like, dude. No. I am offended at the suggestion. Other than my fiance, who's an extension of myself, no one can help me. They will fuck it up. I need to do this, or it won't be done right. Because no one else pays enough attention to the fucking detail. No one else cares as much as I do. Yeah, my standards are too high. I need everything to be perfect. And there's things that like I'm just gonna notice, like the text isn't centered properly or something like that. Like I just, like it. God, anyway. Okay, I need to set up the VODs section. Which I'm still not exactly sure how to do. I might... I have it right now. There's nothing on it, so it doesn't matter. But right now it's set up as a technically free subscription tier on my site, but it's included within the higher subscription tier that's paid, because there isn't a way to add the higher subscription tier with also adding different access to things while it's still being in the same tier, because I wanted it to have access to all the other stuff without having to post it twice. So there wasn't really a way to do that, so I have it set up like that. I might just have it redundantly set up to also have the price, and then since it's included, it should just work, and then you won't have to pay twice. But I might just have one of you test it out, so that way if it does do that, then I'll just revert it back to the free one, and it's not the end of the world if people do it. Otherwise, I could just have it set up so that's like a email? Newsletter? I took a break last month. Was it last month? Was it the month before last month? May, I took a break. Anyway, so yeah, I need to set up the VODs section. I need to just kind of play around with that. Jean, I'll probably make you be my guinea pig because I can text you. So I might make you test it since you already are on the other one. So I will make you see if it will do it. But I'm gonna get to that after I get everything else set up, because I want to get everything else set up so that it's solid first, and then I'll set up the VODs. Because also they need to be like, I can't just like post them because I'm limited to uploading 30 minutes at a time for stuff, which is why you'll see on my site videos are broken up into like part 1, part 2, or if it's a shorter video and the bloopers are just really long, it'll be just the video and the bloopers are in a different section. And like, kind of, I'm like, I'm doing my best. I just kind of have to randomly cut it around 30 minutes. So like, I titled each section, okay? So hopefully it's not too confusing when you're watching it. Has anyone run into that? It's mostly in the free sections so far. And then the Miku video I had to cut up. What do you guys think? Anyone on the site? Has anyone seen? Does anyone... How do we feel? How do we feel about that? Okay, I need to... Yeah, so for the streams, I don't think I'm gonna be uploading them. I think it's gonna be download only for the stream VODs until I figure out a solution. Just because it's like... It's so much. It's so much, like... I gotta have it be download only for now. Yeah, unless I can find out a better solution, but for now, that's what I got. That's what I got. Like, I'll probably do it, so I'll upload the first 30 minutes of the stream, and then you download the rest of the stream for the whole stream. Yeah. That works. First 30 minutes will be on the site. The rest will have a little button to download. I am a genius. Okay. Yes, yes. That way you can see which video it is. Perfect. Perfect. That works. That fucking works. Yes. Yes. And if we can figure out who had stream shoutouts for each one, I will try to put that on there. However, might just be like a moving forward thing instead of a retroactive thing. Just because I don't know if we wrote that down in our panic to download everything. I don't know if we got that information. So, but yes, Brandon's got one for tonight. Well, no, because I'm not doing a private stream tonight. Sorry. Maybe either tonight or Monday, depending on what he wants. It can either because I'm not doing a secret stream tonight because I'm tired. Yeah, no, I'm just happy we got them all. Someone made a note of all of the stream shoutouts. Oh, never mind. Everyone thank Gene. He figured it out. We will get those up then on the site. That will be part of, kind of like how under the videos there's like the sponsors section. I'll put a stream shoutout section like that for each stream. That'll be good. Yes, it'll be posted the exact same way that the videos are currently, where it's organized by date and all of that. So I will make sure the dates, that definitely is on the stream info that we got. So I will make sure the dates are all there. It can be organized by date and everything. It usually tells me the recording date. So it'll probably be the recording date, because most of it that I've got, at least all the ones that I uploaded from my end, are all the title of it is just the date. So yeah, we should be good. We should be good. We should be good. Yeah. It'll be more or less close enough to the original date, and unless I've streamed quite a fucking lot, which usually if I was doing like an everyday type of stream, I was posting them the same day. So it'll be more like a one odd one that might not have the correct date. It usually tells me the when it starts recording is what it titles the VOD. Yeah, it's gonna all be really close, so you shouldn't have a hard time finding stuff. Okay, so we have to do that. I have to finish editing the librarian video, because oh my god, my computer is just struggling on that one, but it's okay. We persevere. It's because I decided to I need to get a green screen. I have to update all of my site assets because I remade some and I reorganized some. I need to fix the videos section categories, and then I need to fix a few of the headers as well because I changed the font. So yeah. For Teddy's, I need to just like, for Teddy's, I need to figure out the pages I even want. I need to plan some more layouts. I need to figure out how her tiers are gonna work. I need to draw more assets for her site. Oh, I need to draw assets for my site. which we're gonna do today. That's what we're gonna do this stream, is we're gonna work on some site assets for myself. Namely, a new little character to add to stuff, because we have one right now, which is cute, but I need an alternative one that's not a chibi. That would be best. So we're gonna do that. Okay. Okay. We got our plan now. That's good. Proud of us. Oh my god. Ugh. Okay, and another note, we need to catch up on the Queen's videos, because the verdict for the titty trial happened, and it's less than satisfactory. Sorry. Yeah, see, we're gonna work on this. Ugh. This is my sketch. We're gonna work on. Oh! Oh, Munchie. It's Munchie food time. He's crazy. He's crazy. He's a wild little nugget. Why is it sideways, Munch? You're crazy. You're very crazy, Munchie. Let's make it not sideways. I'm just turning it a bit. I'm turning it so it's actually easy for you to get to your food. Yeah, it's kind of hard for you to get to it. No, he just pushed it sideways. Look at that bean. Look at that outstretched bean. The little bean. Look how he's sitting. Look at him. Why is he sitting like that? Munchie, you're so silly, kitten. What are you doing, ferret? You're silly. Touch your beans. No? Will you not touch your beans? So you trying to steal? Oh, boys. Chérie, that's not for boys. That's not your food, baby. Was that good, Munchie? You get fed in a little bit, baby. And by a little bit, I mean 3 o'clock. He's a tiny baby. Where are you going right now? Oh my god, Munchie. Did you find another piece? Oh my god. Their gluttony knows no bounds. Look at that tail. You whacking your sister in the face with the tail? She's gonna steal your water. Oh my god, he's drinking the water. He's drinking the water, chat. Look at him, he likes it. Happy tail. No. You thirsty, Kita? You like it? Yeah, he definitely likes his new water bowl. I think he likes it so tall and also that it's so big. See you soon, Gina. I understand kitten is too distracting. Oh, baby. Gonna do your stretching? Kitten stretch. No, too sleepy. So there's nothing over there. Silly. Anyway, so yeah, this is what we're gonna work on. However, let me show you really quick. I wanna not website stuff. Ew, boring. No. I wanna show you Teddy Chan stuff. Ignore ignore the bald. Just no, free me. Okay. I had to draw a fully rendered PNG of Teddy because I was like, I don't have one yet. I realized. So here we go. Here is a fully rendered new design of Teddy that I can now use for like splash art and other shit and on her website. I still haven't seen the ending animation for the new one because, like, obviously I saw the first 3 episodes in the movie, but I saw the new OP is really good. I like it. No! It does. It totally does. But yeah, we got a fully rendered Teddy. Whee! I like how it turned out. I'm working on this for her to have as like a banner and stuff. Just because I need something for that as well. And I need something with sticky in it. Oh, wait, I think I showed you this last time, but more faces. I think that's it. That's all I've done. But still, I like them. So yeah. We're gonna work on this. My amazing website planning here. Yeah. I completely deviated from that plan and went a completely different direction, but it's fine. I just haven't drawn the lewd ones yet. I gotta get around to that. Look at them. Hold on, let me get this. Do you see Buddy? He's in the pile. Does drawing bring you peace and still your mind? I mean, yeah, actually, I would say so. I mean, I did this little sketch here. I'll do let's do the replay. I was gonna make it a square image, and then I was like, nah, that's not enough room. But I did this morning while I was trying to wake up. This was my helping me wake up sketch. I'm still trying to wake up. Fuck. But I mapped out the shading so that we wouldn't have to think about it later. I have plenty of drawings I don't share with you guys. Yeah, exactly. We're gonna do line art to wake up further, so it's fine. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't too bad actually. I was just kind of like, I went with the Teddy-ish design face-wise because I'm getting used to drawing her face. Getting easier. But I went with that, obviously minus the tooth. And I changed the hair up a bit. I tried to do my hair. But girl, I have plenty of BDSM drawings, but those are not private. Those will be going on Teddy's stuff. I can't show you those on YouTube though. But no, there's plenty of those. You guys have seen them. You've seen them. You've seen them. He's always evil. Evil. What does Teddy dress up as at Halloween? A scarecrow. That's her Halloween costume, is a scarecrow. It's very cute. I need to redesign it though to match her new stuff. Oh god damn. Okay, no. Focus. I have way too much fun doing that. I'm like, I need to finish. We can work on that during Halloween, okay, chat? God damn it. I think the most annoying thing is I wanted to get ahead of the holidays this year around, but now things are looking like I'm absolutely not getting ahead of the holidays this year around. It's okay. It's fine. We're getting things restructured. Next year we will get ahead of the holidays. We'll just make the holidays simple this year. We won't go overboard with them. We'll just do our normal schedule and it will be holiday themed, I think. So I think we'll just do that. This year's been a lot, so yeah. We were doing so good though. We were really doing good up until 2 weeks ago. Fuck. No stream marathons. Maybe a few extra streams, but I have to resist. I have to resist my urge. Resist. But yeah, the more that I get my website and everything set up, the more comfortable I am. I'm a little more worried for Teddy's content on Fansly than I am my own, obviously. At this point, like, I'm just gonna try to keep my stuff to keeping within the TOS, and then anything that doesn't will just get put on my website. And now that it's getting better set up, I'm more good with that. But like, I don't know about Teddy's. That's why I'm getting hers like really, really set up. But yeah. So we'll see. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything so far, but I don't know. I'm waiting to see what happens to like the top few VTubers, because like all of them like heavily brand, like Teddy is maybe okay because like Teddy is a name, and like a lot of her, like, other than the fact that it's like, here, let me like pull up her stuff really fast. Let me look at it. Let me just really look at it. It's like, yes, she has like, it says teddy bear VTuber is like, okay, I'm just gonna point out, why is that even on here? Bro, we've gotten rid of, anyway. Why does it always do that to me? Okay, so she's got teddy bear VTuber, maybe that. The corrupted Cubs tier, maybe that. Like Thunder Buddy should be fine. Maybe Honey Bun, because like bunny, even though it's like talking about like the food, I don't know, maybe that. But like, she doesn't heavily brand herself as being a bear, so like maybe she's gonna be fine, as long as I don't lean into it too heavy, you know? Exactly. She's just a huge sports fan. Like, what are you talking about? It's difficult because that's like her species. So it's like, like, we're not redoing her lore. Like, so. Like, it says cub because she's a cub. Like, most of it should be okay. I'm not super worried. So we'll see what happens to like the top VTubers who are branded like puppy and stuff like that, which is like very explicitly what they're banning. But we'll see. I'm gonna have to change all of my phrasing and stuff to like Neko, or we'll see if they ban it in other languages or not. Because if they don't ban kanji, we might just start doing it in Japanese. We might just start writing in Japanese. So, you know, we might just do that instead. So, if that's the case, I'm just gonna have everything be in Japanese. But I don't know if they're gonna do that or not. Exactly. It helps a lot that she's like literally a girl with bear ears and a tail. Like, it's not like she's super furry adjacent, honestly. As much as she's quite literally a bear, a stuffed animal teddy bear that was transformed into a girl, like, she's very much not retained all that much of the teddy bearness, thankfully. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Oh, look at that sleepy kitten. Look at that good little loaf. That is a prime loaf right there. Supreme loaf. Supreme loaf. Look at that loaf. Just a little baby loaf. Even the tail is tucked up. He's eeping. He's still listening, but he's eeping. He hears his sister. The baby. He says his baby. Ignore my messy ass bed. What's she doing, whole boy? She's right there. Get up. Where was I? Over here. Okay, anyway, let me stop procrastinating. Let us work on line art and listen to some stuff, alright? Yeah. Honestly, it's not that much of it. It's mostly just like the stuff I need for like the next filming and the clothes I was wearing before stream last week. It looks like more just because Bubby's in the pile. And there's a towel there. Oh, baby. That's a sleepy kitten. Thank you. Thanks for hanging out. Two babies. One of the sleepy babies. It's your little bush. Little bush is down there. Can't make it so they're all in the frame. It's too hard. She doesn't really have much of a reaction. She's just sad. She's just sad. She doesn't really let loose, though. I mean, like, she does, but, like... You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of the same. Okay, let's see. Alright, which one did we leave off on, chat? Which was the last one that we watched? Okay. Okay, so I think we just watched the Kid Cudi one, right? We just watched the Kid Cudi one, and now we... I think we just watched the Kid Cudi one, so I think we're on to the one where she's getting harassed herself. I think that... Alright, I think we're on this one. Let me know if this is the right one, chat. Big stretch. Oh. Okay, cool. That's the one. Let's do it. I'm gonna pull it up. Don't worry. I just have to pull it up first. Okay. Here we go. YouTube video. I want to put a box around it. Okay, it's like not the right size. Wait, no. Okay, that's the wrong one. Let me try a different one. I know I have a border that works for this. Is this the one? Is this the same? No, this is better. Okay, I think this is the one. Or is this the same? This might be the same. Wait, it's the same. Okay, fuck it, whatever, it's good enough. Oh, god damn it. Whatever, alright, let's watch this. You guys got it pulled up? Ready? You ready? Let's go. 3, 2, 1, play.
Bada bing, bada boom.
I know our episodes have been later than we wanted them to be, and there have just been a lot of things that have been happening at the court behind the scenes. The first 20 minutes of this video are going to have no relation to the actual trial and the actual happenings of the trial with all the testimonies of the witnesses. So the first 20 minutes are honestly just some behind the scenes information on things that we've been kind of working with. So if that is no interest to you, just skip ahead. I will say though, it has been a rough few weeks. This is our 4th time moving locations. One of them was completely unrelated to the case, and the rest of the times that we've moved to different places to stay, it's just been getting weird, and we're taking all the necessary precautions to keep the entire team safe. And I feel like I haven't really spoken about any of the things that have been happening behind the scenes, so I just want to fill you guys in. There has been so much happening inside the courthouse, or right after the court, or the entire team, like right before we go into the courthouse, and it's just things that we can't really put our finger on. And
you guys had me turn it up
we're
a lot
overly paranoid.
last time.
I'm just gonna try and tell you and explain why I think that we've been on edge recently. I'm just gonna paint the picture for you. This is not creepy. It's just pure
chat.
chaos.
Hey, at least you can hear
outside
her.
the courthouse. It is a literal zoo every single day. I see TikToks here and there of people capturing this chaotic tornado that's happening, and it is wild how desensitized everybody is getting to just how incredibly messy everything is.
Is that good?
A few days ago, there was a man who came to the courthouse with this giant 2x4 plank of wood, and he was, in a rather menacing way, slamming it against the street poles. He swung it at a reporter. Thankfully, she did not get hit, but it was still terrifying nevertheless.
Delicious.
And this is actually the second time within the span of like a few business days that the police have been called on this specific person. He has been around the line for a while. He has been consistently standing in the line to get into the courthouse, and then in the morning, he tries to sell his spot. I will say that this man is very intense. Our only interactions with him personally is that he is very aggressive, and he will aggressively scream "ni hao" at us and expect us to say it back. And so we do, because we're terrified. His friend is also very intense.
French pastry.
There was one morning where I was going over transcripts before the courthouse opened. So I'm like sitting on the ledge of the sidewalk, and I'm going over the transcripts. He's standing towering over me, and he's just asking, he's like demanding to know what I thought about Cassie's testimony. I told him I'm busy. I've worked.
It is pretty sweet. So maybe you just got bad ones.
He keeps insisting me in a pretty threatening way. He's like towering over me, Why can't I help you? You don't think I can help you? You don't think I'm capable of helping you? I'm telling you, I can help you right now. And it just took so long to get him to finally walk away. He was definitely erratic, unpredictable. It felt like he wanted me to answer his persistent questions about what I felt about Cassie's testimony so that he would have a reason to start freaking out. That was good. There was another incident where a man was believed to be holding a pool ball inside of a sock. So he's like threatening to swing it around and hit people with it. We didn't see it. We were warned about it. So we like stayed in the courthouse a little bit longer before exiting that day. It's the same guy that allegedly we heard again that he spat at a reporter. He was screaming homophobic slurs at people in the line. And the NYPD, they will just take the people harassing the public and the press outside waiting to get into the courthouse, will lead them across the street and then send them off. They literally just cross the street with them. We've seen this happen almost every other day. I mean, I think they can't really do anything unless someone demands to press charges or, I don't know, actually, God forbid, gets injured, so that's great.
Yours is right there.
You want the bag? You can have the bag. Munchie the bone is right here, sir.
There is heavy police presence there. The U.S. Marshals are out there every single day, but there are just nonstop people, unwarranted, uncounted, just spawning out of thin air, screaming at everybody. I honestly feel like some of these people are coming to the courthouse to get a fight out of their system. That's the feeling. That's the only way I can describe it. People are trying to argue about pretty much everything outside of this courthouse. I am told that this is very New York, which we have spent some time in New York and had a place here for a while, and it feels like every interaction, like
listen,
every
I also
bad
love sweet stuff
I've had in New York.
I also dip it in my coffee, which is like a mocha.
1,000.
So
and
that
then
helps.
Add it all up, and then I have
Try
to
dipping it in your
relive that
coffee next
experience
time.
every single day. We're trying to keep to ourselves. We're really just trying to mind our own business. But even so, just a few days ago, one of our team members was waiting in the line super early, gets harassed to the point of tears. A passerby is cursing at her, screaming belligerently at her, tries to snatch her phone from her hand. We've been told that she's been starting quite a few fights outside the courthouse. This is completely unprompted. She's screaming racist slurs at our team member's face. Nobody cares. Nobody helps. Like, people are just standing around live streaming it, filming it, watching it, and then afterwards, after the crazy lady leaves, the same people that were filming, that did nothing to help our team member, are now filming her as they comfort her. And they're like trying to rub her back and tell her it's okay. It is so dystopian. We were inside the courthouse, so we didn't even know until after the fact. There were briefly a group of protesters wearing Free Diddy shirts across the street from the courthouse. They were allegedly getting paid $20 an hour to stand outside and wear Free Diddy t-shirts to promote the Diddy coin, which we've also received.
The best part is the bottom.
Like a crypto coin for Diddy, so there's that.
It looks like it's burnt.
There are people seemingly thirsting
not burnt.
after
it's
Sean
just like
Combs'
crystallized
sons when
sugar.
they arrive and leave for court, with one supporter of the Sun, not Diddy supporter, kissing Justin Combs on the cheek. Which, speaking of, I will say, there has been an uptick of Diddy supporters coming into the courthouse through the public side. One supporter even tries to hand Sean Combs a stack of papers, which Officer Riz promptly put an end to. But
they are not easy to make, though, because you need
the supporters saying outside the courthouse, they've been slightly confrontational with the press and confrontational with a lot of others that are just live streaming right outside. So that's just setting the scene of what's been happening outside the courthouse.
But yeah, it's like a creme brulee
also, why
flavor,
is Fresh and Fit Myron in the courtroom? Like, he was in the main courtroom for, I think, at least a few days last week. I haven't seen him the past few days, but he could be in the overflow rooms. I did see him outside while when he first started coming around. He's recording outside while a woman is undressing down into her underwear. This is like right outside the federal courthouse. This is how chaotic.
Why is she getting undressed?
Which, if you're not familiar, Myron is the Fresh and Fit guy. If you're luckily unfamiliar with his podcast, which I don't even think is around anymore, he would have this format where he would bring a bunch of women onto the podcast, many of them being OnlyFans models, and he just essentially berates them for being alive. I mean, that's factually incorrect, but emotionally, that's what you're going to feel from the podcast. There are at least 5 times I wrote in my notebook, why is Myron here? Like, I don't know why he's here. But what's interesting about him is he's actually quite meek in real life. Not that I think he should carry himself as he does on his podcast in the courthouse, but he's
on his neck.
Like, he has a very soft demeanor.
So funny.
Softer than other content creators that I run into in the elevators, which is not what I expected of him. Like, we were in the elevator with him once, and everybody's shuffling out, and we were waiting for him to leave, and he's just like, oh, yeah, please go ahead. But like very softly. Nevertheless, that's just like painting the picture of the chaos. There have been a lot of incidents, though, that have us feeling just weird. Right outside the federal courthouse, there is this one gigantic line that is filled with press and public. You got members of the press, you got members of the public, all in one singular line. The only way that you can kind of differentiate is like maybe they have on their press badge at the time. Now, this line typically starts the day before. The line sometimes starts before we get out of court sometimes. So the line starts while we're inside the courthouse. Clearly, nobody can be at two places at once. So a lot of the press members, they will hire line waiters. And just to give you an idea, a lot of the press pews, yes, there's a few independent journalists in there. A good number of them are all with Legacy Media, and Legacy Media has a lot of money. We're a small team, and just to keep up, we're having to spend about $1,000 a day to have line sitters. Actually more, to just make sure we get into that main courtroom to be able to give you all the details that we really want to provide for you guys.
That's actually so
there's this giant line outside, press and public all in one line, and then right before the security line into the courthouse,
you have to pay people to wait in line for you. So
and divvy up the line. So they'll make a press line and they'll make a public line. So it's in order. So if you're like the fifth in line, you might be the second member of the press, or you might be the third member of the public, and they'll just kind of sort you one by one, depending on the order. Now, I will say that a good chunk of the public line are content creators, so it's kind of like a mini press line. Also, these days, though, lots of supporters of Sean Combs that are not part of his friends and family that are going in through the public side as well. And then once you get inside the courtroom, the press pews are on the right side, and the public pews are on the left side. Recently, there have been so many whisperings and just confusion because there have been different people each time that will lurk around this gigantic main line outside before it's separated. And you'll see that in the beginning, I think the Legacy Media,
you definitely do not notice the room. I don't notice the room at all.
Good chunk of the first half of the gigantic line are
like
press.
Unless you know that there's rum there, you don't taste it.
Walk up and down this line, primarily focusing on the press members at the very front, and they'll act like they're just walking up and down for exercise, and they will be secretly recording everyone on their phones. Now, mind you, there are a lot of people live streaming outside, so it's not like they're live streaming. It's like they're trying to be discreet.
The middle
like
should be like super
but they
eggy.
don't want the press members to know that they're recording. So it's becoming incredibly uncomfortable, and all the press members are trying to warn each other once they spot someone like this. And it feels like it's every other day that they spot someone secretly recording members of the press. And it's confusing because, you know, a lot of the members of the press, these people are very impressive producers, reporters, journalists that have been in the industry for years. They work with Legacy Media. They're not the type of people that are just going to say unhinged stuff in broad daylight in a public setting or air out confidential information on the side of the street. So it's not like you're recording the press members saying anything salacious or juicy or even worth capturing on camera. It feels like they're recording to get a general vibe of the members of the press. Because right before we go in, we might have small talk about maybe yesterday's testimony.
Look
like
up
what's
French Bakery
expected when we walk in today.
In Seattle.
Who's testifying today? Like there's little conversations
it's like not
like
downtown.
That, where maybe
downtown,
you
could
see each members of the press
out of the way.
Maybe you'll see a little bit of their feelings about how it's going. Maybe you'll see like tiny bits of their opinions. Nothing salacious. Maybe it's more like, I almost cried when she was testifying.
What's that area fucking called?
Like those are the types of comments you hear. It's really not worth recording. And I say that it's been weird because those same people that are trying to discreetly record, they will often approach members of the press asking questions about how they feel about the case thus far. And they'll try to do it in a very casual manner. But again, we're all warning each other that they're recording us. I think it's been pretty easy for my researchers and I to tell if someone that we meet near or outside or even sometimes inside the courthouse is a genuinely curious person, or if they're asking a lot of strange questions. And that's why it's so hard to explain any of this in a way that doesn't make us seem super dramatic, because I
feel like you're not being dramatic enough, honestly, Queen.
We feel are genuinely just supporters of the podcast, or just intrigued because maybe they themselves are trying to start social media. So the past 2 weeks, we have had almost, I want to say it's like more than a handful. I think it's been like 8 or 9 times in the past like week. Not people that we see in the courtroom every single day. Completely new faces that will come up to us, tell us that they love our show, Rotten Mango, and then they keep asking us where we're staying, which hotel we're staying at, which part of the city we're staying at. And of course, we give them very non-committal answers because that's a very invasive question to ask.
Yeah, not only that, they even ask like who's here.
Yes. Oh, I'm going to get into that.
Like,
so, like, just to give you an idea, like, clearly, if someone is a member of the press, or if it's a fellow content creator, or somebody that I see every single day, and we have some sort of foundation, and they ask me,
got a 50.
where are you staying? It feels like, oh, because we're all trying to get a gauge of all the hotels nearby, which one's a good one, which one has good amenities for after court. But these are random people that are like, hey, by the way, I love your show. Nice to meet you.
How long is
My name is blank. Where are you staying? It's like instant. It's just nonstop questions about which hotel we're staying at.
Damn,
and then
that's
if we
crazy.
evade the question, it becomes what part of the city, which area, how long does it take you to get here? Do you Uber or do you walk? Who's all staying with you? Is it just you guys? Is it just you and your researcher here? Who, like, do you go home during the weekends if you're not from the city? Do you fly back home? Do you take the train? Like, it's just
that's like, so weird.
What are some of these questions going to provide for this person? Like,
nothing.
There's no need for anybody to ask these type of questions.
And the worst part is, it's pretty clear that we're so uncomfortable with these questions, because we'll literally be like, yeah, haha. And then they'll just keep asking.
And some of them don't seem like they've really watched anything from you. Yeah.
Because now, like, our researchers do this thing where they will try to have conversations about the show, and most of them have no clue what the show is even about, is the feeling.
Yeah.
And then this person will just vanish. That'll be like the first conversation we have with them, and then we'll never see them in court again.
That's so
one
fucking
specific
weird.
time, there was a man, an older guy, who's asking us where we're staying, just pressing. And he's in the main courtroom, in the public section. He's asking us all these invasive questions, and then he's waiting for us in the hallway during each break, just casually lingering near us the entire day, and then just rerouting every conversation back to which hotel you're staying at, pressing details. My researcher passes me a note later in the day saying, look at him right now. He doesn't even have a notebook. So usually, because you can't bring your phone, and you're not just like staring. I mean, even members of the public, they're all taking notes, even if they're not content creators. Sure enough, I look, no notes are being taken, nothing. And then he never shows up to court again. Another odd instance, this is a completely separate person.
Yes, we're streaming on here
nonstop where we're staying. We give a non-committal answer to him. He keeps asking, and again, it's not giving that, hey, I'm genuinely curious because I'm also staying at a hotel.
here.
It's
and
just
then
so unsettling.
Teddy's stream starts at 2:30.
He keeps pressing. Later during the break, he approaches my researcher
starts
outside
at 2,
while I'm in the
and then
bathroom.
goes until 4:30.
And then he asks
Twitch is at 5:30.
where I'm staying. And she again does not respond because he
and we're
just
not streaming
asked
on
us
Family
while
today.
we were
We will
together.
be streaming on Monday.
It was just weird. He literally just asked us. This has been happening like every other day. There are other odd questions that are asked by people that don't necessarily look like they even care about the show in the slightest. So one person in particular asked a series of questions trying to gauge how much, quote, power I have over my audience. Like, they kept asking, like, can you make them do anything? And I was like, do you think I, like, run a cult? I think half of them don't even like me that much. Like, what do you mean? It is a cult. What do you mean? I can't make them do anything, period. But they kept asking, like, well, you don't think if you say something, willingly. They would listen to you? Oh. And I'm like, I don't think so.
Fireworks
I think
have
they would do
started,
their own research. And it did not
You'll get to
seem
see
like
how
this person cared at all about this
these
show.
guys give a
now,
fuck
this could be completely
about the fireworks.
In addition to everything else that I just talked about, and everybody's already pretty intense. There was one instance where we're walking out of the courthouse. We run into someone who's like, hey, I love your show. That's it. And then they like come in for a hug. It was kind of abrupt. I was a little bit taken off guard. I love your show. Pulling me in for a hug, and my researcher snatches my arm, pulls me back, and is like, we gotta go. Our car is here. And I thought it was kind of strange. So we get into the car, and she's telling me their hand was like elbow deep into your tote bag. It's clear that they're looking for something. Now, I will say that my tote bag opening is quite large, but it's right under my armpit. So you would have to attempt to stick your arm in there. It would not be an accident, like, oh, I'm hugging you and my hand just ended up in this side. It's like elbow deep. So scary. I mean, I guess they could have been trying to steal my wallet, but it was weird. There's a lot of other small incidents that have taken place. I don't think they're trying to steal your wallet if they're like, oh my god, I love your show. It feels like the weirdness and the influx of all these odd questions. They're clearly trying to make it look like they're a fan. Where are you staying? How much influence do you have? They wouldn't have just done research on you if they're trying to steal your wallet. Especially the where are you staying ones. I mean, I've never had that many people ask me where I'm staying. And maybe it's coupled with all the chaos outside, with the people like threatening to hurt people with a pool ball and a sock outside. Maybe it has to do with the intensity of the case itself, and it's just all accumulated into this very stressful situation, but we have been just taking a bit more time to worry about our surroundings. Honestly, nothing really happened. It's just, you know, when you have a gut feeling like something's not right, it's kind of a lot of those that have been creeping us out, and we're just trying to stay on top of it before it escalates to anything. We could definitely just be paranoid, but I wanted to keep you guys updated on everything that's going on. I feel like
she's definitely not paranoid.
But as of right now, nothing has really happened. Don't be worried. Nobody here is terrified. It's just been weird, and we're trying to be alert. We've been moving around to different places where we stay a bit more mindful to just not come straight back to where we stay after court. Just taking all these like necessary small steps, and it just takes time. Because it's not just me, it's my researchers, it's my whole team. We're all just trying to make sure everybody feels safe and comfortable. And that's what we've been dealing with more in the past week, but I think we should be able to get episodes up more quickly. I think we have a really good plan in place for all of us to feel safe, and hopefully it works. Oh my God. So with that being said, let's get into the
but even Munchie doesn't really seem to give a fuck.
We would like to thank today's sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support Achievement Centers for Children. They're a nonprofit organization helping children and adults with disabilities to achieve their greatest potential. This episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support Rotten Mango's growing team, and also our constant moving around in the city, bringing the team to the city. And we'd also like to thank you guys for your continued support as we work on our mission to be worthy advocates. As always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. Few disclaimers: there are mentions of physical assault, kidnapping, firearms. Many of the quotes and statements included have been shortened and condensed for brevity. And you guys know the drill. Sean Combs is presumed innocent until proven guilty. That burden of proof is the responsibility of the government. Any descriptions or observations regarding Mr. Combs' legal team, anybody inside that courtroom, are personally noted by myself or my other researchers who are present in the courtroom.
I'm so
mad about it. They should not be used as like a definitive source on how you should feel about anybody.
Like, this should have been such an easy win for them.
In other news, I think Diddy might know us. I don't know, maybe. So I'm just gonna explain. The first time it happened, I didn't even say it in an episode because my researcher and I are like, it was weird, but like, we could be dramatic. The second time it happens, I'm like, wait, maybe I'm not being dramatic. Not that it means anything regardless, but here's what happened, and you tell me, because what is going on? Usually, Sean Combs will do this thing where he does a sweep of the press pews when he first walks into the courtroom. He's like hugging his attorneys. He'll look to the public side, which is on his right, and then we're kind of diagonal from him. And he oftentimes, since more of his supporters are coming to the courtroom these days, he'll shoot them little hand hearts. He'll put his hand to his chest. He'll mouth thank you. And then the press pews, we get a simple glance over and sometimes a nod, like a quick head down nod. Now, clearly, this stands out to both my researcher and I really strongly because on Thursday, we even write the time down, at 8:50 a.m., jurors are not in the courtroom. Attorneys are doing their thing. They're going through their documents. They're conversing about certain aspects of the day. Sean Combs sits down at his chair, and he turns in his chair to the right. This is our eye direction. Like, we can see him now. He makes eye contact with the press pews. We're at the very first row of the press pews. So there's 2 rows behind us. Now he glances over the press pews. He starts staring in what felt like in our general direction, or perhaps right behind us. And it's a pretty lengthy stare. And then he starts nodding while mouthing the words dramatically, "I know you."
You don't hear it, you only see the mouthing, right?
Yeah, and it was clear that he was doing it so whoever is receiving it can understand what he's saying, because it's not like mumbling. He's like, "I know you," like very clear.
That's so scary.
He mouths it twice with what we perceive to be a smirk. Then as he's turning back around to face the front, he's like ever so slightly shaking his head while he's still smirking.
And
it's even scarier because he's out now.
The feeling was he was saying that towards you. Right?
Or he's gonna get out.
So my researcher wrote, like, it looked like he was looking at Stephanie. I wrote, like, listen, you know when you can, like, make eye contact with someone, it feels like they're looking at you? Because you know when you're talking to someone and they're looking behind you, you start, like, looking behind you. without even thinking about it, subconsciously, because you're like, wait, what's going on? Why are you looking behind me? It felt like he was looking at me, but again, I'm not trying to be dramatic. I don't know if he was looking at me. He could have been looking behind me, right? But then right at that moment, the jury comes in, we all stand up, and as there's noise in the courtroom, because we're not allowed to talk when the judge is on the bench, a reporter from a major media network, I mean, she's been doing this for years and years. She's like a professional. She turns to me and she whispers, quote, "You're putting that in your video, right?" Because that was at least 7 seconds. And 7 seconds does feel like an eternity
it's
in that courtroom.
It's not only just looking, but like the mouthing of "I know you" is weird.
And it was a pretty long time. Like usually when you know how in the beginning I'm like, this guy loves to stare. He kind of dropped a lot of the staring, at least towards the press. But when he did stare, it was still a little more brief. It feels like eternity, but it's more brief. This one was quite lengthy. So my researcher and I, we both felt it was weird. We both wrote it down independently in our notes in the courtroom. We talked about it after, and we're like, you know what, we can't be sure. We don't want to be dramatic. Then it happens again on Friday, a week later. So not the following Friday, but a week later. And this one felt more like, okay, are we crazy? It feels a little more real. I don't know. I could be wrong still.
Dude, I'm so worried
for Friday,
her now.
We're sitting in the same exact seats, first row of the press pews. However, there is a row of counsel in front of us. Now, a lot of the witnesses, they'll have their attorneys, family, and friends. Like, that's why we were sitting behind Cassie's attorney and Cassie's husband. They'll sit right in the pew in front of us. Mia,
like, girl, this is not
she
good.
was testifying. Her friends and family and her attorneys are in the pew right in front of us, and it's packed. It's jam-packed. And the whole day on Friday, all the press members are complaining about how they can't see anything. And we're in the first row of the press. And it was difficult for me to see sitting like this. Like, I couldn't see the witness and the defendant. Like, I could see the witness, I could see Mia, but I can't see the defendant that well. So my entire neck was crooked the entire time. So my researcher is focusing on the witness and her body language, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna focus on the defendant then, because I gotta turn my neck. We can't just keep moving our heads because we don't want to bother the press behind us. So my head is poked out like this. I had to put pus on my neck. That's how I'm trying to describe how much my neck was turned. So on Friday, there's this moment where there's a sidebar. Sean Combs' attorneys are near the front of the courtroom with the judge, and regardless, the jurors are still sitting on the side. Sean Combs turns around, but he turns to his right. So his mom is right behind him. It might have been easier for him to turn left. Maybe not, because maybe he's right-handed, but he does like a full turn. So he turns right, he glances over at our side of the courtroom, not like our side, but where we're sitting. And then he talks to his mom, and then he's smiling, nodding at her. He's like mouthing, "I love you." And then my neck is tilted still because I'm observing him and I'm taking notes about him talking to his mom during this sidebar. And as he's making his turn back to the front, it felt like we make awkward eye contact. And I say awkward to the point where I'm like, you know when it's so awkward, you almost like instinctively smile or look down because you're like, oh, I just got caught staring at someone. That was the feeling. It was like, oh, I literally just got caught staring him down. And he starts rubbing his chin with his left hand. So much. And now what appears to seem like, I know you. I know you. And this time it seems more pronounced because as he's rubbing his chin with his left hand,
I would not be shocked. I would not be shocked.
Slight index point. It's not like a point. He's not pointing his finger, but it's kind of like a hand gesture, like I know you, like kind of like you, like almost pointing at you, whoever you is. Then he turns to the front. And it was just so
welcome.
Odd. And regardless, to us, not to us, it was intense. It was odd.
Your little
maybe he's talking about the whole press as a whole.
Sharp baby teeth.
Weird.
So to clarify, right? So Stephanie clearly feels like it was really uncomfortable eye contact, along with mouthing, "I know you." And even the phrase itself, "I know you," sounds really off.
Face on a different layer.
What does that mean? Do you know me?
Yeah, okay, so even the first time that he did it, the previous Thursday, right? Like, my researcher was a bit more firm than me, and she's like, no, he was literally looking, and I saw it. Like, I'm watching from the side.
And also, just to clarify, I think it is normal for them to know a lot of the press.
Oh yeah, I
they're
think
doing research every day, seeing what everyone's talking about. I think it's completely normal, and we're expected of that. But the fact that he's mouthing that feels a little bit more intentional. Like, what does that mean? Right?
Yeah, I think if they don't know every single person in the press pew, the attorneys are not doing their jobs right. Especially if he's paying that much money. I think that they should probably know every single person in that courtroom. Maybe not the public, but everybody else. Yeah, I mean, you're having a lot of the same familiar faces over and over again, and these are the people that are going outside and telling the world what is happening that's maybe not on the transcript. And so it makes sense that he would know every single member of the press, right? But it was just like, I think the intensity of the stare was a lot. It just is an intense moment. And I think the first time it happened, my researcher was a bit more firm in the sense of like, no, he was saying, I know you. Because I thought, well, maybe he was saying, how are you to somebody? Who knows, right? But then the second time he does like the finger point, so it was just weird. And
it's
again,
so fucking
he
weird.
knows us, he doesn't know us. Does it really matter? I don't think so. But I did almost pee myself. Like, that's all I'm trying to say. Now, with that being said, Sean Combs walks into the courtroom.
A valid
black
reaction,
sweater. This is a different day. And the attorneys, it's so interesting. I feel like as the trial progresses, he can't even hide it. His real mannerisms are starting to show because every single thing just reminds me of a commanding businessman. And I'm just going to give you like a scale of his businessman poses. Anytime he sits and he listens to a witness testimony, he will have a default businessman pose that he sits in. And sometimes it's a lot more pronounced than others. But right when he walks into the courtroom, he looks like the president of the board meeting. All the attorneys are standing, waiting to hug him, waiting to greet him. Meanwhile, the prosecution, they look like they're not here to play games. Combs sits down on his chair on either side. He's got Nicole Westmoreland standing behind him on his right side. On his left side, he's got Brian Steele. And they're both standing behind him with one hand on the back of Diddy's chair. And they're crouched over and talking to him. They're both whispering to both sides of his face. And it's like two consultants going over a business deal with the CEO. And Sean Combs is just staring straight ahead. Meanwhile, Tenny Garagos and Mark Agnifilo walk in. Combs stands up. He pulls out Tenny's chair for her, even helps her scoot in, which apparently she's 4 months pregnant with her second child. Mark Agnifilo,
dude, I've been so tired.
Busy. He is the type of student that I feel, even
working so hard this week, that every single night I go to bed, I just crash.
He's the one that
do not wake up
in his
once.
Textbook until the very last moment. He's not talking to anybody. He's just studying his notes. And to give you an idea, Judge Arun, the judge, very firm, but he's also kind of sick of everyone right now. For example, in a sidebar, both sides are only allowed to have 2 lawyers from each side at the sidebar. But the defense team, because they have practically a whole football team of lawyers, they always consistently have more than 2 lawyers that go to the sidebar. And maybe Mark Agnifilo can see that the judge is getting annoyed because he mentions to him, I know you have a 2-lawyer rule at the sidebar, and I know we've been breaking it, so I'm guilty. And the judge just says, well, it's like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You get a few lifelines, but you're running out. And it's going to be a very intense day. The next witness on the stand is Capricorn Clark. Everybody has been anticipating her testimony, considering she's the one that has claimed she was kidnapped by Sean Combs. I mean, that's a lot to unpack. Capricorn Clark, she walks in looking so casual. Like a lot of the other witnesses, they've come in very well dressed, very well refreshed. They don't look happy, but they look like they're ready for a fight. They look like they're ready for battle. They look like they're ready for testimony. They look like they're prepared. Capricorn Clark walks in and she looks like, this doesn't even look like Monday at her work. This feels like a Wednesday after a crazy Taco Tuesday. Like, that's the vibe.
Honestly,
her hair is tied back. She has on these giant eyeglasses that cover half of her face. She doesn't look like she has much makeup on. She's wearing a white shirt, super thin.
What are you doing under my desk,
a pinstripe skirt. What's interesting is if you actually look at photos of her leaving the courthouse, she's not wearing that same outfit. She's actually wearing a pinstripe vest and nothing underneath. So it's like a tank vest, and you can see her belly button. It's cropped. You can see the tattoos on her arm, and it's a perfect match with her skirt. I don't think the prosecutors liked that. So someone gave her a long-sleeve white t-shirt.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know
when she walked in, someone made her change.
It seems like it. I don't know if it was the prosecutors or her own counsel, or maybe it was one of her friends. I don't know. But someone was like, maybe you should wear this.
So someone changed her out of the vest.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you could see tattoos, you could see a lot of shoulder, which, I mean, it's court, right? I guess no shoulders, and you could see her belly button. So I don't know whose shirt it is. She walks in, and you can just, I think the minute she walks in, you can kind of tell that she's already going to have a very interesting testimony, because she just looks like she is not very prepared for the testimony. And it seems like everybody else is very prepared for the testimony. They've talked it over with counsel. Like, this is something that they knew and they were anticipating was going to happen. Capricorn Clark looks like she's already crying on the way to the witness stand. Like, she looks very relatable in the sense of, like, because same, I would also be a wreck. That's what it feels like.
Watch it be like Sagittarius.
Now, Combs is doing the same thing where everyone in the pews, they're turning with Capricorn Clark as she's walking like she's a bride down the aisle. We're all like watching and turning our bodies facing the front with her. Sean Combs does not look back until she's in his view, and then he'll just watch her go to the witness stand. And with that, she takes the stand. There's a reason why the sun is hot and the sky is blue. Just like there is a reason why Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. For more than 35 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people, fighting for regular, everyday people across the country with over 100 offices and more than 1,000 lawyers nationwide, having recovered more than $25 billion for over 500,000 clients. Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting to get you full and fair compensation. In Florida, a client received $12 million.
Does anyone else feel like Morgan & Morgan is giving like
in Pennsylvania, a
Better
client
Call
was
Saul
awarded $26 million,
energy.
40 times the insurance company's offer of $650,000. The truth is, if you pick the wrong law firm, you might be setting yourself up to lose before you even get started. All law firms are not the same. If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/rotten or dial pound law, pound 529.
I feel like the prosecution didn't even fucking try. Like, why don't they have expert witnesses in here? That's so crazy to me that they never called like an expert witness on like maybe trauma or sex trafficking or any of these things.
Now, we did a quick sweep of some old gossip blogs just to get an idea of how this was going to go. Capricorn Clark, if you knew about the music industry well, if you knew some of like the more figures in the music industry, so not just this celebrity, this artist, this musician, but their managers, their assistants, their staff, their personnel, you would probably know Capricorn Clark. She was Combs' assistant and manager of his clothing brand, but she's also friends with celebrities like Rihanna and A$AP Rocky. She seems a bit like a socialite in her own right. That's how people talk about her in these gossip blogs. But out of nowhere, someone that has always been with Sean Combs, she suddenly gets fired. And so all these gossip blogs, like 10 years ago, they start speculating, why did she get fired? Why did she get fired? There's rumors that she was fired for stealing from Diddy. He shut those rumors down. There were rumors that she was having intimate relations with Diddy, and then Cassie found out. Those are later shot down. It's just so much is happening. With one post from 2014 on a gossip website reading, "Old tea, but I heard Diddy brought Cassie into the bedroom with Capricorn." One gossip blog enthusiast writes, in 2015, she and Cassie developed a very close bond like sisters, and Capricorn started noticing that Diddy was rejecting Cassie's music to keep her under his thumb. This is in 2015. So Cap would tell Cassie that she could do better, and Diddy didn't like that, so he would start telling Cass that Cap was the one leaking bad stories about her, and that whenever Cass wasn't around, Cap would belittle her, and eventually Capricorn quit. So that's what they're hypothesizing is why Capricorn is no longer in Diddy's circle. But now, Capricorn's Instagram is private. Her bio just reads, "Nothing to see here. Everything not saved will be lost. Tell the truth, shame the devil." With a lot of people thinking that Sean Combs is the devil. Because even around the time of Cassie's lawsuit, there was a tweet that has since been removed and her ex has gone in private, but Capricorn Clark allegedly tweeted, "Don't take the path of the wicked. Don't follow those who do evil. Stay away from that path. Don't even go near it. Turn around and go the other way." Another one, she adds, "Doors be unlocked. You gotta be willing to walk away from the money. Full stop. 2011 was hell. Tragic kingdom." She also does another one that's more clearly aligned with Sean Combs. "Black women end up being the sacrifice. For the last 11 years of my life, I had to deal with everyone's nonsensical allegiance to the devil. They will skin you and wear you, baby girl, and then pretend that they never wanted your skin." Kim was the only person who didn't switch up. The only one. Dark times. I'm personally very triggered. I pray it's over. I never deserved this. Stop. Hashtag protect black women IRL. Hashtag RIP Kim. And it's a picture of her and Kim Porter.
Wow.
So clearly, she has very strong feelings. And she starts off the direct by giving some background. She says that she's always been in the music industry. She interned at Def Jam Records, which is a massive music label. Then she was with Death Row Records with Suge Knight, which is Bad Boy Records' constant nemesis. This is the origins of the Tupac and Biggie rivalry. She also mentions that, quote, my mother died, and then shortly thereafter, my father died. And this is like 2 seconds of her taking the stand. She's already about to cry. And she sounds like she's crying already.
There we
and
go.
some of the defense attorneys look at each other like, what the f?
But yeah, the justice
I guess that they don't like the instant going into sympathetic territory. I will say that Capricorn Clark is probably the most, second, top 3 most captivating witnesses. I mean, she just talks in a way where I feel like you just know everything she's saying, she's probably oversharing. That's the feeling. You feel like she's going to get very messy on the stand, but maybe it's good because it makes her feel very transparent. Even when she's asked to identify Combs, she closes her eyes dramatically.
I did go to college for art, so...
It was like a nearly black, very dark navy blue sweater.
All those form studies finally paying off.
But yes. Now, she's very intriguing. She sounds like a smoker, has a very raspy voice, and she sounds like she is 2 seconds away from sobbing with every question. It's not like
that was my
she's
least
2
favorite.
seconds
Was
away
doing
from being
still
emotional,
life
so she's
charcoal
getting choked
studies.
up. It sounds more like, you know when people sob and it's more of like audible? Like, ah. It sounds like she's 2 seconds away.
No, this will definitely go on merch, though. This will be on merch in the future. This will be on other stuff in the future.
It'll be Entertainment with Sean Combs in 2004 as his personal assistant. And it's a bit of a switch considering she didn't just work for Sean Combs' nemesis and competitor Suge Knight. They're actually very close in some respects. Capricorn's best friend has children with Suge Knight. So it's very complicated. And right off the bat,
had like
Prosecutor
this
Steiner is
setup of like a black velvet
and Miss Clark. I want to direct your attention to December of 2011.
That was on another box.
Were you working for Mr. Combs?
And then she'd put like a skull. She had like this fake like skull.
So I'm trying to.
And she'd put and then like some bones.
Because you only
and
get
then
the
she would have
and
like
I feel like it's very hard to understand why
random
the
figures, like random like dolls and shit. She'd
and
like
a
make
lot
us.
Of it is so much in the
there was
delivery
like this
and the
horse
voice and the tone,
statue, and they were always like abstract
whether
slightly.
Or not you believe this person. So if I'm just like reading the transcript, it's like she says yes,
oh my God,
right? But in reality, it's more like
yes, really
like it's very like raw.
She wasn't even goth.
What occurred at that time? I was kidnapped. So the jurors, they immediately start taking notes.
It was just for like getting it. We were doing like lighting studies mainly, like lighting and like form studies. So it was about like getting the basic shapes down. Kind of like what I did for this shading, but it would be a lot of like that type of stuff.
She explains that after working as his personal assistant, she quits and then comes back a little while later to work as the director of marketing for Sean John Women's, and then the global of Sean John Women's, and then later she comes back as Cassie's manager, or like the
what you should do is like you learn to use your fingernail as a measurement.
She says it's a new tentacle from the master brand of Sean John's that I was in charge of.
And then also you can get the angles by doing a right angle with your finger,
Combs
and you
is
can
still
kind of like match it
right
up.
ahead. His mom walks in late during the direct testimony. He doesn't even notice. Everybody is so absorbed in Capricorn Clark's testimony. Capricorn is shown pictures of a few of the security guards for Combs, and it's interesting because even when she's looking at the pictures on the evidence screen, she looks like these security guards are about to jump up and attack her out of the screen. Like she looks scared to look at the screen. She's like wincing and kind of glancing at the screen, and she is very descriptive. She likes to give her put her arms out to describe people's statures. She says D-Rock is
learning
a bit more.
How to like
he's about 6'3",
look at
6'4",
something,
more slender, very solid.
Measure it with your pencil or your finger,
running back type
and then
of body.
draw it down on
and
paper.
Paul
Is
Offert,
the
that everybody calls Uncle
single
Paulie,
best skill you can learn if you want to learn how to draw.
Can you please describe his general appearance? Quiet, stoic, a bit menacing. Physically, he looks like a linebacker. There's a picture admitted into evidence.
Well, you know.
And is this picture how Mr. Offert
it
typically
depends.
looks?
You can kind of like.
What's different? He doesn't have his glasses on. His blacked out sunglasses that he wears 100% of the time. Capricorn Clark testifies that on the very first day of the job, working as Combs' personal assistant at like 9 p.m.
But that's why sometimes using a pencil works, because then you can
Sean
just kind
Combs
of like...
and Uncle Paulie take her to Central
okay,
Park.
that's the right angle.
Capricorn
like you can
says
match
Sean
it up
Combs
on the
tells
side of your
her,
paper or whatever.
I had no clue that you had
like,
anything to do with Suge Knight.
Right, that's for sure
this is
right
her first
angle.
Day on the job. And he basically says to her, according to her, if anything happens, if you do anything to, I guess, mess Sean Combs up or give information or intel to Suge Knight, quote, he would have to kill me. Mark Agnifilo during this entire direct testimony is a whack-a-mole. He's constantly standing up.
Definitely use the pencil, or you can literally. There's tools. There's like literal tools for this. The like old-fashioned like.
That if anything happens, he would have to kill you.
All the mechanical like mathematician-looking tools. Those are
very
for
serious?
Like architecture
I felt like
studies
there was some
and drawings.
to the fact that he might have had issues with Suge. How did you react when Mr. Combs threatened you?
Dude, fucking Suge. I'm actually shocked that Suge wasn't.
She's like, I said,
brought into this trial more.
That's the tone, and it seems very emotional.
Like she can't even hold it back anymore.
Yeah, it's like she's starting to get very emotional.
And this is like still early on, right?
It's like 3 minutes in. During this, Combs is very stoic. He's sitting still, but his head is
right? Like,
side
oh god.
Meanwhile,
art class definitely teaches you how to use a lot of different
She's moving
tools
around nonstop.
and stuff that I would just simply have never learned how to use if I didn't go to school for it.
Asks, "What do you mean by that?" It meant that there was nothing I could do in Central Park to convince him that I was a trustworthy person. And
I know, right? It's like they barely tried. It's so weird. Like they didn't even bring in like sober, but like I said, like a psychiatrist or a psychologist or someone who specializes in sex trafficking. Like why would you not bring in an expert witness in this situation? It's very weird.
There's nothing I could do to convince him that I was a trustworthy person. It sounds like when you're drunk and you're trying to like explain something as you're crying, as you're emotional, but you're a little drunk, so it sounds kind of like that.
And how
I've heard that, Vincent, but like it doesn't.
There are a few jurors that never seem
in my
that
experience is not
by anyone.
true.
Even during Cassie's testimony, I felt like they would rather be anywhere else on this planet. Like they seemed, honestly, I don't want to use the word, but they seemed bored. Like a few of them. I think most of them were very in tune and taking notes, but a few of them, they just look bored every single day that I'm
I think
there.
bored's the
During
correct.
Capricorn's testimony, they're jotting down notes like passionately, every single one of the jurors, because the emotion is so raw. I think Cassie's testimony, a lot of the words she says evokes emotions in people, but when she says it, most of the time she does not convey a lot of emotions. She's saying it matter of the fact, this is how I felt, this is what happened. Capricorn Clark, you can't not feel her emotions because she feels it so heavily.
So like when Stephanie came home that day, like she was saying this is one of the most like
I think most
impactful
testimony. I think everybody felt that way because here's the thing that everyone kept saying about Capricorn Clark, and like this is the best way I could phrase it. A lot of people said she's just captivating. My feeling is if you don't already believe her,
not captivating enough to override for the prosecution's faulty fucking
she just feels
case.
Like a mess, like a friend that you're like, oh my god, you're kind of a mess, and I want to help you.
Yeah.
So she's like crying.
So frustrating.
I knew that I didn't have anything to do with
the
any
witnesses.
of that stuff that he possibly could have had. Objection, judge. So Mark Agnifilo is just nonstop objecting to everything. Capricorn explains that she still worked for Combs after the Central Park threats because she felt like, yeah, maybe I could have been more transparent about telling him that I worked for Suge Knight prior to all of this. But there were just other alarming things that happened during the course of her employment. There's this one time. We were at MTV. He was doing MTV Press with 50 Cent. And after the interview wrapped up, myself, Puff, and Chris Lighty, which is 50 Cent's manager at the time, got in the elevator. So 50 Cent is not in the elevator. It's her,
he hates him so
Puff,
much.
Chris
so
Lighty,
funny.
which is 50 Cent's manager. What happened in the elevator? Capricorn is explaining that Combs had an issue with 50 Cent. She doesn't dive much deeper into it, but if you watched our previous 4-part series, you know that 50 Cent is amongst a long list of... You know, he's got a lot of career accomplishments, but he is also a professional Diddy hater. He also has recently discovered AI-generated images and how to produce them, so he's just been spamming the feed with AI-generated pictures of him in court wearing free Diddy shirts. Regardless, Capricorn Clark says, Puff told Chris because they were having some sort of issue, like, I don't really like all this back and forth. I don't like that. I like guns.
Free Diddy so he can
What
get
was
him.
Mr. Combs' demeanor when he said that he liked guns? Very serious. During the testimony about 50 Cent, Diddy looks over at Mark Agnifilo, who asks him a question. Diddy purses his lips like a duck and just nods slowly. I don't know what that means. Is he confirming, like, yeah, I did say that? Like, I don't know. Meanwhile, 50 Cent will later take to Instagram to write, cut. Wait a minute, Puffy's got a gun? I can't believe this. I don't feel safe. Frowny face, LOL.
He's responding to this testimony.
Yeah. But it does not get better from here. Capricorn Clark says within a few months of working for Combs, she gets accused of theft. She's had the job for a few months, and she gets accused of stealing very expensive high-end jewelry that was on loan from Jacob the jeweler. So this isn't even Sean Combs' jewelry. A lot of celebrities will get loaned big pieces for events. She says it was a diamond necklace with a cross, diamond bracelet, and a diamond watch. Miss Clark, had you stolen the jewelry? I did not. But it was in her possession at one point. Combs gave it to her for safekeeping because she's the assistant. They're traveling to Miami. She's to keep it safe. And on this trap, like before they even get on the plane to go to Miami, she realizes the jewelry is missing. What did you do when you realized that the jewelry was missing? I told the driver to stop the car and I called security and I told them to lock everybody in and search them. She tells Combs that the jewelry is missing.
I don't know what era of anime this style of face is. It's like kind of a mix between 80s and
the head of security, with the
early 2000s, I feel like.
She goes back to her house in Queens where Uncle Paulie starts questioning her about the events leading up to the jewelry being missing.
I was kind of basing it off of like 80s anime, but it's kind of morphed into something else now.
He went through my belongings, he went through my common areas. I had a roommate,
trying to find a way to
describe
it because it's not like just normal anime.
But he tells her he's going to be back tomorrow. Like, we need to figure this out. The next day, Capricorn says Uncle Paulie comes to pick her up, and he takes her to 1710 Broadway, which at this time was being converted into the new Bad Boy Entertainment headquarters, but she did not know that at this point. She just knew that when she walks in there, the whole place looks like it's under construction and abandoned. They walk in through the glass doors, her and Uncle Paulie. She says that someone she doesn't know comes and locks the front door behind them from outside the building, like you would lock your house from the outside.
Okay, but like you see what I mean with like the early 2000s anime?
She says the building is just, quote, dilapidated.
Like I was going for kind of like the
post-move out, post-pre-move in. The floors weren't even really done on the levels we were on. The floor wasn't done. There was like old pieces of like, you know, permanent fixtures around that were sort of taken out. It's pretty much a gutted building. They go up to the 6th floor, and it looks similar, dilapidated. Floor isn't done, nothing built yet, some old built-ins. And, quote, there was a 6-foot folding table with some chairs in the middle of the room.
Art from Clay Studio.
So now it's Uncle Paulie, Capricorn Clark, and this gentleman who's sitting there waiting for them, which Capricorn describes as heavyset gentleman who was chain-smoking cigarettes, and she'll, like, do hand motions, and drinking black coffee. Can you describe the individual's appearance?
I like it though.
Very wide, very heavy.
It's like
looks
a very
like
forgiving style about like where you place stuff.
He wasn't tall. He didn't stand very much either.
Which I appreciate.
So Uncle Paulie is a linebacker. This man is 2 linebackers. When you say size and width, he was very large? Yes. Can you describe this man's size relative to your own? Capricorn looks at the prosecutor, then she turns to the jury, and it looks like she's trying to think in her mind, like, how do I describe someone's size?
She's such a funny witness. Also, I'll be
and she
right
just
back.
goes
I'm
for
not
it. 5 of me across.
Back.
I mean, he was very wide. Some of the jurors, they're doing like full teeth smiles and giggles because the way she's delivering the information is so. Again, she's like looking at the jurors and she's like, 5 of me, like. Very wide, like very descriptive. It's a pretty goofy moment in light of how serious everything's been and depressing in this courtroom. I mean, just the way that she like stands with her arms out, it's a lot. We're not used to that. The only person not amused, naturally, is Sean Combs, who just cocks his head to the right.
I'm not Hassan, I didn't go to the bathroom.
Nevertheless, Capricorn Clark and Mr. 2 linebackers are left alone. Uncle Paulie leaves, and Mr. 2 linebackers, whom she states she never learns his name, he tells her that she has been brought to this building so that she could take a lie detector test to find out what happened to the jewelry. What, if anything, did he say would happen if you did not pass the test? He said if you fail these tests, they're going to throw you in the East River. And she starts sobbing. The minute those words come out of Capricorn Clark's mouth, the jurors are jotting down notes. Combs looks around, but he's looking at like, hello, why is someone not saying anything? Hello, what's happening? And then finally, Agnifilo stands up. Your Honor, I'm going to object. Move to strike the last answer. Can we approach for a second? During the sidebar, Combs is leaning his elbows on his armrest, using his right hand to touch his chin.
Right? East River is just gross. Like, I'm not gonna drown there, but I will die from a random unknown disease that mankind has never seen before.
And she'll like lift them up and wipe her tears and then push them back down, and she's like fidgeting with them. And then she'll do this very animated sigh where her shoulders go all the way up. And then she slumps it down, and then she uses the tissue to wipe her nose. I feel like if anybody else had done that, it would come off performative and fake. But I don't know why. When
honestly, she's
Clark
me as a witness.
You're just like, I don't even know her, but it feels
genuine. I have
genuine.
zero filter,
like,
so it'd be hard.
Message and image that I think the jurors are getting.
And you feel for her, like.
I think everyone did.
Everyone in the press
the woman was like, she might be one of the more gripping testimonies. Because of how you can relate to her. She just feels like a normal girl that just got thrown up on the witness stand. Just way in over her head. And she's kind of a wreck. Meanwhile, at the sidebar, Mr. Agnifilo is very stressed. There's no indication that any of this is coming from the defendant. We don't even know who this man is, which even if it is to be believed, I'm not here to quarrel with that at this point. There's nothing saying that Mr. Combs wanted any of this to happen, so it's unduly prejudicial. So I think for that reason, we object to it and we move to strike it. She's with this unknown man who is giving her a lie detector test, and that connection between that man and Mr. Combs is just non-existent at this point.
Okay.
The judge does not agree. He rules, I don't think that's a fair characterization of the testimony, but I understand your argument. Objection is overruled. After the objection, Prosecutor Steiner goes back to asking Capricorn about what it was like to take this lie detector test in this dilapidated building after being told that she's been thrown in the East River if the results are bad. Capricorn says they strapped her up to some, quote, stuff to your chest and then strap some stuff to your arms, and then they ask you a series of questions over and over and over again. What types of questions were you asked? Did I steal the jewelry? Did I come up with an idea to steal the jewelry? Did I plan with somebody to steal the jewelry? Had I ever stolen from him? Just a lot of stealing-centric questions. From him, was that
There's
Mr.
a lot
Combs?
happening, yes.
Yes. Did this man tell you the results of the test? They said that they were inconclusive. What, if anything, did the man tell you about the results?
Inconclusive, that's convenient.
It's like, I'm not getting a good reading. You need to calm down. You're going to be in the East River if I can't get a good reading on this.
Like, dude, how are you going to get a good reading?
She kind of sounds, again, like the drunk, panicked voice. And again, I'm not insinuating that she's drunk.
I'm going to do hair next because I always leave hair for last, and then I'm always annoyed with myself.
And I think the reason that her testimony resonated a lot with the jurors, at least from the perception that I saw, and like even the people in the pews, is that like the words she's saying are sad, and you can like resonate with the sadness of like, yes, if I were in that situation, I too would be panicked, right? You can resonate on that level. But on a secondary level, she's incredibly likable in a sense of like, it's not just overwhelming sadness. It's like, you almost like want to give her a hug, because it's like, oh my gosh, like what is happening right now? Like it just feels very relatable. I don't know how to put it in a way that doesn't sound like I'm minimizing her testimony, because I'm not at all. It's just in the sense of like, you feel like she's your friend. The way that she communicates feels like she's a friend, and now your friend is telling you some of the worst stuff that's ever happened to her. So you almost resonate on a deeper level. She feels like she's just telling you like exactly what's happened and how it made her feel. There's no intentional like, let me tell you in a sophisticated manner. Let me tell you in a way where I think you'll understand. She's just like saying as she's feeling it, is what it's perceived as. When he told you to calm down, how had you been reacting?
I love how she's always like,
I couldn't
is
calm
what
down.
it seems like, is what it's perceived as, is what I think. It's just that she doesn't get in trouble.
She has a way of sounding incredibly honest, and she sounds just honestly relatable. I hate that word, but I don't know how else to describe it. The whole time she's sniffling, wiping her tears.
If we finish the line art and get the basic colors in, I'll be happy.
She's lifting them to wipe her tears. Meanwhile, Combs is just stoically looking ahead with very little movement. The jurors are rapidly taking notes, and here's the interesting thing to note. All the jurors' notes are naturally kept in the courthouse. They're collected every single day and given back at the start of each court day. But at the very end, after the verdict, notes are permanently destroyed. So they're writing in their notes. Capricorn is telling them as they're taking their notes that she was there for a full work day that Monday. They're intermittently all day taking the lie detector test, we weren't allowed to leave. The door was locked from the outside. She did not attempt to leave the building because she says, I was there to prove my innocence. At the end of the day, Uncle Paulie takes her home
doesn't really
and
feel
tells
like
her
an
that they're going to do this
option.
all over again the next morning. And they do for the next 5 days. She said she's doing a 9 to 5 getting a lie detector test all week long.
Yeah, that's so
Why
fucked.
did you continue to go with Mr. Offord, Uncle Paulie, to the building? I wanted to prove my innocence. I didn't like the threats. I felt
she was
it
going to get thrown in the East River if she did
it. I was in a different headspace. I was just trying to survive it. She says that she never tried to reach out to law enforcement for her 5-day lie detector marathon because she worked under an NDA. She didn't even think about calling the cops. And after those 5 days, Uncle Paulie just tells her, yeah, you're going to go home. Next Monday, she just goes back to work. Sean Combs acts like nothing ever happened. Nobody ever did find the jewelry. It didn't make sense for Capricorn to quit because she's saying, I mean, I felt like if I had left, it would have been written off as I had stolen it anyway. And then likely she would never be able to work in the industry. Now, side note, during the entirety of the lie detector testimony, one of Combs' closest friends, who's known him for decades, he's been inside the courtroom every single day, sitting in the friends and family pews, and he's falling asleep. And I really try to focus mainly on jotting down notes on everyone's reactions to things rather than getting absorbed in my own personal reaction. But that was kind of interesting to me because, sir, is that like a normal Tuesday? Like, have we just all gone through lie detector tests? Like, the way that he was, because I'm thinking, if I'm sitting there and there's a woman on the stand spewing lies about my childhood best friend, would I not be like awake and this is crazy? But he was falling asleep. He was like fully in REM. Now, Capricorn is asked, generally, what hours were you required to work as Mr. Combs' personal assistant? Probably start the day at his townhouse at 74th and Park.
Dude, the schedule for all of the different assistants
at Daddy's house or wherever we were sometime around 4 a.m. Daddy's house is the studio, not
oh my god.
Daddy's house. She says that she would get no breaks throughout the day for basic needs like eating.
Like, that's more than my work schedule,
bro.
bro.
4 hours of sleep.
What the hell?
On a bad night, 2 hours of sleep. And this is probably putting it very lightly. 2 of Sean Combs' other former assistants testified. And this is how David James, he was another former assistant, he describes it. And side note, there is a really weird skit of David James and Diddy that I'm going to put in the video because maybe it gives you an idea of like his tone of voice and stuff. But it's about Diddy being allergic to bitch-ass disease.
It's David. I'm here to go over your schedule for the day.
How do I know you haven't been infected with the bitch-assness disease? You were supposed to be here an hour ago.
I know, sir, but I got stuck in traffic trying to get here from the studio.
Excuses. First sign of bitch-assness. Did you bring my iPod with you for my run this morning?
I think I forgot it, sir. Let me go get it right now.
David has been infected with the bitch-assness disease.
Which, don't be a bitch-ass is, I guess, the end statement of the video. David James walks into the courtroom.
So weird.
Dave James was before Capricorn.
Yeah, days before Capricorn. He seems less prepared in the sense of like, not the answering of the questions, but he walks in and it's like a restaurant. He's kind of waiting for the hostess to guide him to the witness seat is like what it feels like. He's just awkwardly staring and it's just uncomfortable. And in court he's asked, generally speaking, Mr. James, what were your responsibilities as a personal assistant for Mr. Combs? How long do we have? He just starts listing everything he needed to do. Make every environment for him comfortable so he could perform his duties. There was a lot of organization of his personal items, traveling around the world with him, basically be at his right-hand side wherever he was.
Oh god, sounds like the worst job ever.
So what you want to do is you have to arrive at his house before he wakes up in the morning. It's important that you set the environment up as soon as he wakes up so he's able to have a successful day. So that would be to compile different documents. One of those documents, we have a folder on the table that would be everything that he needs to approve from a business perspective. If there is a certain artwork for an album he's doing, certain advertisements he has to approve. There would be a file of business documents, and next to that would be his business schedule for the day that he would have laid out. We'd also have a folder for all the press clippings for any news mentions of Mr. Combs in the last 24 hours. So, like, this man knows everyone in the press pews. Like, you can't tell me he doesn't know everyone in the press pews. He just seems like he's intrigued by the press on him, okay? Which, I'm just saying, but more on that later. Continuing on, I would turn on the TV for him to his preferred channel, and I would work with a chef to make sure breakfast was getting started, and then I would knock on the door to get the day going and get his feedback as to if he was ready to wake up, if we needed to make adjustments to his schedule. From there, he would wake up, and we would wait for him to be done with his breakfast. We would call down to security to let them know that Mr. Combs is getting ready to move out for the day, and we would travel around the city, especially New York City. Then it's dinner, which he later notes it's pretty standard for Combs to have a 3-hour dinner. Then it's studio for work on an album. album, quote, that would take us to about 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and then from there we would either go back to his personal residence or to a destination of his request, and we would get a call time at the end of the night. It was important that I didn't leave his side until I got the call time to know what time to be back tomorrow. I would text the executive team, his security staff, and let them know what time I'd be back for tomorrow once I got that call time.
At like 4 a.m., 5 a.m.?
Jesus Christ.
So generally, what were your hours? I would say my hours would start 30 minutes before he woke up until he gave me that call time at the end of the night, which could be anywhere between, 4 in the morning to 8 in the morning.
Wow.
How many days per week were you on duty? Depending on the personal staff at the time, some days it would be 6 days a week. There were times I worked 3 weeks straight. When we had more executive staff, I would work sometimes 5 days a week. All of that, and David James was paid $70,000 a year. Which, side note, it seems that Mr. Combs is very particular about how he likes everything done. Another former personal assistant that testified, George Kaplan, he says he has to make sure all of Combs' toiletries in his bathroom are facing forward, and the process of making sure all of these little things and adjustments were made before he wakes up would take at least 30 minutes. Now, back to the press part, there was one incident where David James says he was off that day, but still at the Combs residence. I was sitting at the computer in his office. I was working on a research project for Mr. Combs. He wanted to get new tattoos, so I was looking up different options for him. He entered the house at the time. He had been at the club with Miss Ventura, another assistant, and security. As soon as he entered the door, he beelined straight towards me, and he came right over to me, looked over my shoulder, asked me what I was doing, and I said, I'm doing a research project for you, sir. He told me that someone was lying on him, and someone did a blog post that somebody hit Cassie, and he looked at my browser history to see what websites I had been visiting that night. So he was following gossip blogs too.
Diddy was?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he comes home and he's like, are you the one that wrote the gossip blog? And he's like checking the browser on David James's history.
Oh.
David is like, I did not. It was jarring. He'd never done anything like that. Now, side note, I did find the old gossip post. I think this is the one that they're referencing, but it reads, according to a reliable source, Diddy beat the shit out of Cassie for talking to another guy. He pushed her to the ground and kicked her in the face, and this is not the first time he's hit her. Details to follow. David James says that during his interview, Vashta, the senior VP of Human Resources, pointed to a picture. This is before he's even hired.
It's crazy that he has a VP of Human Resources at all. Like the concept of Diddy having a human resources is really funny to me.
Multi-step interview process where at the end,
he's like, what a facade.
David James is asked by Sean Combs why he should be hired, and he tells Mr. Combs, I can't stop, I won't stop. And he said that at that point, Sean Combs was nodding his head like, yeah, I like that. David James also mentions in his direct that he was given a lie detector test after a Cartier bracelet went missing. And he says that Uncle Collie came, searched his things, did not find anything, and then gave a lie detector test. At this point, Combs passes another note to Tenny Garagos. He rests his arm on the armrest, and then he's like watching for her reaction as she's reading his little post-it in the courtroom. It's weird. Sometimes he does that. He'll like watch the attorneys react to his post-it note. And then I always wonder, because
and like, does the attorney react or say anything, or
like they'll give him a nod, and then sometimes like I think he wants them to pass it to the person doing the cross, so then he'll like kind of motion for them to like hello. It's very interesting. He's definitely heavily involved. Like these attorneys are not running their own defense and he's just their client. Like he's calling a lot of shots. Oftentimes, even during cross-examinations, they'll say, "1 moment, Your Honor," and then the attorney that's doing the cross-examination will go talk to Diddy, come back and say, "No further questions." So it's interesting. Now, David says that he took 2 lie detector tests during his time working for Combs. He says, I was invited to what almost looked like a government building. It was kind of a tall skyscraper, and I met with a gentleman who said he was a former FBI lie detector. And at this point, the whole courtroom laughs. Is it funny? No. Are we just like full of tension? Yeah.
No, it was funny.
Like, lie detector,
it was funny.
Detector.
Lie detector.
I guess you could call it.
Funny.
And he was like the most, specialist lie detector agent in America. Who told you that? The gentleman did. The lie detector? Yeah. And again, everyone giggles again. It was very intimidating. I don't know if you've ever taken a lie detector test before, but you basically sit in a chair where they monitor your movements. They put a heartbeat monitor on your chest. I believe they put something on my head and something in my hand. The lie detector tells him, Mr. Combs does not like people who steal. That's like one of his big things. And he basically told me we had to get rid of the
I feel like that's everyone's
He takes the first for the missing Cartier bracelet, the second one for a Jacob & Co. watch. Also, Combs seems super paranoid, if not already evident by the copious amounts of polygraphs he allegedly forced everyone to take. But David James states, every time they're in the car, if Mr. Combs had a Maybach, he would want to have a second car to his right. That way someone couldn't pull up on him, for example, and try to assassinate him or shoot him, which is how Biggie died. So he would always follow him around like security detail.
Who would? A second car?
Yeah.
Like, is he driving the second car?
So Combs would be in the first car, and then the second car would be filled with staff. So David James would probably be in the back of the second car.
Wow.
Yeah. And Combs was never without security detail. Honestly, this whole thing just sounds like the worst job on the planet. They said the motto at the Combs Enterprise Company was, what rhymes with tired? Fired. All of this, and Capricorn Clark is just getting paid $65,000. She states on the stand,
like, I'd understand it if you were getting paid well, but like, holy shit.
Alopecia. Side note, very odd timing, but right at this moment, Sean Combs takes out his retainer out of his mouth. Like, he has a retainer in his mouth, and he just fully just like slobber and all takes it out of his mouth.
Puts it on the table?
He like wraps it in a napkin.
Oh.
What is alopecia? It's a stress-induced condition where you get bald patches on your head. Capricorn says that she went to HR at this point to tell them, hey, look, quote, I'm working basically 24/7 and I'm not making enough money. And she sat with me to calculate my overtime. Vashta from HR, the same Vashta Dunlap, okay? And they go to calculate Capricorn's overtime. She comes back with this giant sheet of paper and tells Capricorn, and now Sean Combs, who's sitting there, you know, she said that I was owed $80,000 per 3-month period in my assistant era. How did Mr. Combs respond?
Wait, she's owed?
Yeah, for all the overtime. She's owed $80,000 by Sean Combs.
Oh, okay.
And how did Mr. Combs respond? He ripped up the paper. She was not paid the overtime. Instead, Sean Combs would seemingly make her sit through life lessons where he would sit a bunch of women down that work for him and work with him once in the kitchen of his massive LA mansion. What did Mr. Combs discuss with you at that time? He was discussing with us why we didn't have a man like him.
That's why I'm always like zoomed
What did he do?
in.
He said, let me show you something. What did he do next? He called Cassie over and he asked her to sit down, stand up, turn around. And she's like using her hand, she's full into this. Turn the other way, we'll walk over there, grab that, hand me that, walk back, turn back, go back to the other room. What did Miss Ventura respond? She did it. She followed each of his instructions. Yes. And after Miss Ventura left the room, what, if anything, did Mr. Combs say? He said, did you see that? He said, you bitches don't do that. That's why you don't have a miss. So anytime she does Sean Combs' voice, she's like fully in it. So she's like, he said, did you see that?
In different
he
sections
said, you bitches don't do that. That's why you don't have a man. To which we said, you're motherfucking right. And the jurors are giggling. Meanwhile, Tenny Garagos looks over at Mark Agnifilo. She looks disgusted. Her mouth is slightly ajar, like shock. I don't think that she's looking disgusted at her client per se. I think she's trying to I don't think she's trying to convey anything in her reaction. I think her reaction is like, I can't believe she would make up such a wild lie. Now, do we think it's a wild lie? I mean, I guess that's up to you, but that's what Tenny is showing Mark. The jurors don't see it because they're all smiling. Like, just the way she said, you're motherfucking right, was like a lot. Like, the whole, I think we didn't even know how to respond.
Yeah.
Eventually, Mark Agnifilo requests a sidebar where Combs turns around and says, I love you to his mom. And she mouths, I love you back.
Ew.
There's just a lot of, like, tongue movements. I don't know how to describe it. And again, I don't know if this is even worthy of including in an episode, but I'm just trying to see like all the things that we've noticed, and like we have, like my researchers and I have all noticed similar things, and we've almost like coined different terms for it. Like, you know how everyone says Mark Zuckerberg is a lizard? I feel like maybe all billionaires are lizards. A few members of the Combs family have very interesting mannerisms with utilizing their tongue. So Sean Combs, he will lick his lips, and when he licks them, he does them so quickly. And he'll like stick his tongue out and do like 3 licks of his lips very rapidly, and we always try to understand when and why he does it, and if it's just his lips are dry or if it's like something else, I don't know. And then Christian Combs does this thing where it seems like when he feels defensive, he kind of sticks his tongue out of his mouth to the side, like. But it's always in very specific moments. So I think we're just trying to understand what those moments are. And then even when his mother is saying, like, she very dramatically says, I love, like her tongue almost touches the tip of her nose when she says love and love.
Wow.
Yeah, and we both wrote it down, and I thought maybe I'm like paying too much attention to random stuff. But my researcher and I were cross-referencing notes, and we're like, oh yeah, that was kind of intense. I don't think it means anything. I mean, it seems like his mom really does love him. He blows kisses. She smooches the air. Meanwhile, Mark Agnifilo is very busy at the sidebar. This is becoming just a wholesale character assassination. I'm not sure what many of these things have to do with the charges. The judge tells the prosecutor to move on with the line of questioning. But I think the effect on the jury is already kind of done. I've never seen the jurors more engaged in Capricorn's testimony. She just has this way about herself. Again, the best way I described it to my husband when I got home after the testimony was, if you don't already believe what she's saying, you want to believe what she's saying. Because she's just so emotionally transparent that you cannot fathom someone could make this up. Like, for example, even listening to her is just fascinating. When she's asked about what Mr. Combs did when he received €100,000 for a club appearance in Europe, she just responds like crinkling her eyebrows. She looks at the prosecutor like, what kind of dumb question is that? And she goes, keep it? And they're like trying to ask, where did he keep it? But she's like, keep it? I don't know. So it's just very real. Capricorn goes on to detail that Sean Combs likes to throw phones at people when he's upset. He would do that often.
Yeah,
that's like
not,
his thing.
Oh wait, nope.
And he was not just violent with Cassie. He was also violent with his staff, including Capricorn Clark. She says there was this one time in his mansion on Two-Star Island in Miami where he sends Capricorn on an errand. Pharrell Williams, who was a music producer, now he's...
Maybe the real,
you know who he is, yeah. His manager came over and was dropped off by boat. Because this is an island. Everybody has like a boat driveway on Two-Star Island or on Star Island. And so he's dropped off by boat, but then he has to go to another island where Pharrell Williams is shooting a music video. So Mr. Combs is like, hey, Capricorn. And I say Mr. Combs, sorry, because the prosecutors call him Mr. Combs. Sean Combs is like, hey, Capricorn, go drop him off at the other island. She hops in the boat with him, drops him off, but then she decides to stay on that island for like about an hour hanging out. An hour into it, she gets a phone call from Sean Combs. He's like, where the fuck are you? And again, when she is doing Sean Combs' like quotes, it's very intense. And like all the jurors, they're engaged. What did you do after you got that call? I went back to Star Island. What, if anything, did Mr. Combs tell you when you returned to Star Island? He said, see, your problem is you want a life, and you can't have that here. And then she's just like wiping tears, you know? So the next morning, Capricorn wakes up. She goes to the kitchen to get some breakfast. I was making my plate. The chef was there. She was tired. I asked her where the turkey bacon was, and she said, there is no more fucking turkey bacon. She was very upset from a long night. And I just said, I hate it here. And then the chef walks outside, quote, to where Puff was standing on the back deck and told him what I said. It exacerbated her. He immediately looked at me and he said, you hate it here? And then he charged at me. At this point, she's holding herself in a hug while she's telling this story. When you say he charged at you,
right? He completely ruined white nail polish, which is fucked because I like white nail polish. It was cute. He ran towards me with his hands open and like pushed me on my shoulders, and she's using her hands to like motion. He started pushing me back. In what direction was he pushing you? Out towards the front entrance of the kitchen through the butler's pantry. Approximately how far did he push you? About 25, 30 yards? The jurors are incredibly engaged. Even Sean Combs is taking down notes. And how was he pushing you? Just to make sure the record is reflecting the witness with open hands. Open hands, like, right on my shoulder. Like, you know? And she shows again. The top of your shoulders. What, if anything, was Mr. Combs telling you while he was pushing you in this way? He said, you hate it here? Get the fuck out of my house. You hate it here? Get the fuck out of my house. Yeah, and he repeated it until we were outside. Can you describe the amount of force that Mr. Combs was using when he was pushing you? I would say like 75%. I never fell. I kept catching myself. Eventually, Uncle Paulie comes to tell her to pack her things, and she does, and then she leaves. But she comes back to work for Mr. Combs again, and this time she says she only came back because her role was not his personal assistant. It was as his global brand director for Sean John. So he told her specifically he's not going to interact with her as much, and that's the only reason she came back. He was very impressed with her new work when she was gone, so at this point she signed with a record label. She was managing Sierra's newest album and R. Kelly's newest album at that point. She says Puff was very impressed with my work and was like, I'm starting a women's line. You wouldn't have to work directly with me, but you can work for me and it'll be something right up your alley. And it was paying more than Samba Records was. She also worked closely with Cassie. I was her creative director and manager. And in 2011, she became more close with Cassie. She starts learning that she's dating Kid Cudi, Scott Muscudi.
which she kind of admits put her in a tricky situation because she can't tell Combs about the relationship, obviously. But one day in particular, Cassie sends Capricorn a text. And this is where it all started kind of making sense. Remember, I was like, why is Brian Steele asking Kid Cudi about exercising? She says, quote, I was picking Cassie up one day. We were going to Runyon Canyon, which is a place in Los Angeles where you hike. And she asked if Kid Cudi could join us. Cassie texted Capricorn. How did you react when you received that text message? Not well. It was a bad idea. I responded, I don't think we should go to Runyon. There's too many people there. If he comes, we need to go to Fryman Canyon. Delete this text. Combs lizard licks his lips a little and then slightly shakes his head whilst kind of turning to the jurors. Like, you see that? Like, they're all plotting to cheat. Like, it felt very like, I've been wrong type of head shake. Why did you direct Miss Ventura to delete the text? Because that's the second everything got so tricky when she texted me. Mr. Combs paid for my phone. She's texting me on the phone he pays for, on a phone he pays for. It's not a good idea. After what happened, did Miss Ventura
read chat,
change the
but,
way that she communicated with Mr.
half the time chat is not
I took her to Best Buy to buy a
comprehensible.
burner phone. So she's saying she's the one that bought the burner phone.
Sorry.
Why did you take her to Best Buy to buy a burner phone? The way she was moving, she was gonna get us all killed. Mark Agnifilo stands up. I'm sorry. Sustained. Before he even says objection, sustained. The jury should disregard the witness's last answer. At this point, there's kind of an
I need the
awkward loss in the
prosecution
courtroom because it's like
to
we all
learn
expected
the word
him
objection.
to jump up with an objection.
Right.
Like Capricorn really just be saying things.
Because,
I'm not
like-
saying saying things as in they're not true. I'm just saying like no filter.
God.
Truly saying everything on her mind. Everybody knew that these objections were coming. Now, the day that Capricorn Clark is kidnapped is the same day that Kid Cudi's house is broken into, and it's all connected. So remember, the same day, Scott Muscati, Kid Cudi, gets a call from Cassie that Combs found out about them, and she gave him his address. So he picks her up, and they go to the Sunset Marquee. Well, Capricorn, at the same time, she hears banging on her apartment door. She wakes up, runs to the peephole, and she sees, quote, a very upset Puff. He was pacing, and she, does the motions. He was moving around a little bit. He was just anxious, I could tell, but he was furious. That was evident. Can you describe the movement of his body outside your door? He's pacing, and the body language looked like he had something in his hand. Why do you say that? Can you describe what you observed? Just like the body language. I could see his shoulder. It was like something in his hand. He was moving in his hand. I mean, I couldn't really see the peephole all the way down to his hand, but the body language was giving me he's holding something. The way that Capricorn is acting it out, again, adds a lot to her credibility, in my opinion. It's just very descriptive. You really see everything that's happening. Meanwhile, Sean Combs is sitting in the courtroom.
Fortunately, the jury is dumb
Why
as
did you
shit.
open the door for Mr. Combs? He was upset. Part of my job is to make sure that the name and likeness is okay, and he's outside my door. I gotta be like, what is this? Can you describe Mr. Combs at the time? His pants were gray, and they were split open from knee to knee through the crotch, so I could see his underwear. Kind of
What?
assless chaps, but it seems not to have been on purpose. So, it's cut at the inseam.
It came like this, or someone cut it open?
You
or?
could buy pants like this, but I don't think this was on purpose. I think it ripped, maybe in a fit of anger or something.
Oh, his pants ripped.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Did you notice anything in his hand? A gun. And she says it like that. And what did Mr. Combs tell you once he was inside your apartment? He said, why didn't you tell me? And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, who is Scott? I said, I don't know any Scott. What did he say? What did Mr. Combs say after that? He said, Kid Cudi. I said, oh, Cassie's friend. Then he just says, according to Capricorn, quote,
Cassie's
get
friend.
dressed. We're going to go kill this. At this point, the jurors and Combs, they're all taking and jotting down notes passionately. And it's just the way that she's doing his voice and it was a lot. In the sense of I think people are receiving her testimony well. When Mr. Combs directed you to get dressed, how did you respond?
They should have let her
I don't want to
lead.
go. How
They
did
should have
Mr.
let her
Combs
lead the
respond when he said
case,
you don't wanna go?
honestly.
He says, I don't give a fuck what you want to do. Go get dressed. I'd never seen anything like this before. He had never come to my house in the entire time I'd known him. I've never seen him with a weapon. I've never seen him making me do something like this. Combs is done taking notes. He puts his pen down on the table, leans back all the way, crosses his legs, and he's about to put his right elbow on his armchair rest and bring it up to his face. This is his rank 10 business move. This is full businessman. He likes to sit like he's watching someone present, like an intern present a new business deal, but he stops himself.
Fuck you,
So then
iPad.
he takes his arm off the armrest and just sits cross-legged. Because I think it's not a good look.
Yeah.
What?
Did you make
It's
any
not a good
attempt
look.
to escape your apartment? I did not. Why not? The way he was acting, I just felt like anything could happen. I'm gonna object, Judge. Okay, let's move on, Miss Steiner. Capricorn says she's forced to get dressed. They leave her apartment, so it's
Like, bro.
Rube, who is Ruben, another security detail. He's actually D-Rock's little brother, but anyway, he's in the driver's seat of the black Escalade. Combs hops in the back with Capricorn, and she's back there, and he now has his gun on his lap as they're driving through the Hollywood Hills to get to Kid Cudi's house. What, if anything, did Mr. Combs and Rube do after he arrived at Kid Cudi's home? They enter the house. Capricorn says that she stayed in the car, but she couldn't leave. Why were you not able to leave? I probably could have left, but I didn't. What were you afraid of if you left? Mark Agnifilo, whack-a-mole, he's back up. Objection to the leading. Sustained. What did you observe Mr. Combs and Rube do on the property? Fidget around trying to gain access, and then they gained access? What, if anything, did you do while Mr. Combs and Rube were on the property out of the car? I called Cassie. Capricorn says that she was just waiting to call Cassie on her burner phone to warn her because she didn't know if Kid Cudi was in the house. She has no clue that he's already with Cassie by this point, and she's freaking out. And what did you tell Cassie when you called her? Cassie, what the putting this off. And I asked her, like, where she was at. What, if anything, else did you tell her? I told her that Puff King got me with a gun and brought me to Kid Cudi's house to kill him. When she says, brought me to Cudi's house to kill him, Combs looks over at Mark, waiting for him to pop up with an objection. Mark looks at him and does a small shake of the head and does not object. Yeah. When you were speaking with Miss Ventura on the phone, did you hear anyone else on the phone? Yes. Who did you hear? I could hear yelling in the background. What did you hear? I heard someone say, he's in my house. Like, she literally does it like that. And I said, who is that? She said, Scott. And I could hear him running out. And I said, Cassie, stop him. He's going to come get himself killed. And she was like, I can't. After they hang up the phone, Combs comes out and wants to see her phone because he saw her hanging up. Capricorn, being smart, had put Cassie's burner phone number as another friend of hers, Stormy, who is also, I think, shares children with Suge Knight, but besides the point. Stormy. But that's not good enough because now Combs is asking to see her phone. He calls back the last number I was speaking to. And what did he say when he called that number back? What the
literally a
number
horror
is this? And how, if at all, did Mr. Combs react to Cassie having, or Miss Ventura having, a new number?
Wait, so he called it back and he found out it was Cassie?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And Capricorn says he's livid, more so than already. What, if anything, happened after Mr. Combs spoke with Miss Ventura on your phone? We heard a very fast-moving engine coming up the hill. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see that it was Cudi. Puff looked at my face. I guess I gave him a visual cue that it was him, and he goes, there's that right there. What happened next? Cudi pulled up next to the Cadillac Escalade, came to a complete stop, looked, and then took off and sped up the hill. Puff and Rube jumped in the car, and we started chasing him. How long was the chase? It felt like forever, but it couldn't have been longer than a minute. Cudi lost us. We turned south down Laurel Canyon. We heard sirens, and we passed the police.
I'm just realizing
they were headed north on Laurel Canyon. We were headed south on Laurel Canyon. Were the police headed in the direction
There's
of
no
Mr.
like
Muscatti's
actual
residence?
tongue. They're just like boots with fake
Capricorn
laces.
says this is when Combs finally starts to calm down. They drive to the Key Club, which is at the bottom of the Hollywood Hills.
You can tell I made this when I was tired.
It was formerly known as One Oak. I think it's the Key Club now. I think that's what she also said, but One Oak was the big thing, yeah. And they're in the parking lot of One Oak.
I've made
Key
tons
Club,
of porn.
and they don't get out. They're just in the parking lot because she's saying like there's no service
anymore.
in the Hollywood Hills, which
It's
also
too much
valid.
paperwork.
So they come down and they're just using the phone. And it's just Rube, the security, Combs, and Capricorn. And Combs is telling Capricorn to get Cassie on the phone and, quote, he told me to tell Cassie that he has me and he's not going to let me go until I get her. He has me, he won't let me go until I come to you, to which Cassie said, okay, come get me. They get back to Combs' house, and Combs tells Capricorn, once you get Cassie, you guys need to go tell Cudi and convince him not to tell the police that it was me. Did he tell you anything else? He says, if you guys don't convince him of that, I'll kill all you motherfuckers. In the courtroom, Combs visibly starts shaking his head back and forth. Capricorn explains that after they get to his place, she gets into the work car, picks Cassie up from the Sunset Marquee, where Cassie and Capricorn head to Kid Cudi's house and convince him not to tell the police that this was Sean Combs. And then they get back to Sean Combs' residence. Now it's maybe 11 a.m. It's been like this all started out like 6 a.m. What happened after you and Ms. Ventura entered the home? Puff was standing there in a robe in his underwear, and he immediately began kicking Cassie. 100%, full force, in her legs to begin with. She was facing him to start, and he kicked her in her thigh and in her leg. He kept kicking her. He never used his hands. Combs starts taking notes in the courtroom. The jurors are also taking intense notes. And you said he kept kicking her. Was he kicking her more than once? Yes, he repeatedly kicked her, and she just kept, with each kick, she would crouch into a more of a fetal position. And as Miss Ventura was crouching more and more into a fetal position, can you describe where she was physically located? Outside by now.
Hello.
We were in the courtyard of his
Happy
home, just
Fourth.
like outside the vestibule. Every time he kicked,
it
she
going,
moved
bro?
back, and every time she got kicked, she moved back. And approximately how far did Miss Ventura move back from the kicks? Couple steps each time, and in total, all the way to the street, maybe 20 feet. And by the time she reached the street, can you describe what her body looked like? She was all the way on the ground in a full fetal position and crying silently. What was Mr. Combs doing to Miss Ventura in the street when she was on the ground and in a full fetal position? Kicking her? Where?
They don't make sense.
It was her backside.
I don't care. I'm
She
gonna
was
add another.
on the ground, he's kicking her. Capricorn says she and Rube, the security, were both there, and she's freaking out, and Rube is calm. And Combs tells Capricorn, he said if I jump in, he was gonna up too. And she's like sobbing at this point. She said she didn't intervene because I'd never seen her do anything like that, and I was in shock. And in my heart, my heart was breaking seeing her get hit like that. And like the way I'm delivering it is not the way she delivered. Like she's full sobbing, like she's a wreck. I'm gonna object, Your Honor. Objection is sustained. The jury should disregard the last sentence of the witness's answer. What, if anything, did Rube do to intervene? Absolutely nothing. Who, if anyone, did you contact after you observed that Rube was not intervening? I called D-Rock. So D-Rock is Rube's older brother, and he was on the security team longer. I said, tell your brother to stop him. What did you explain to D-Rock what was happening? That he was kicking the shit out of Cassie? Capricorn reaches for a tissue and starts rubbing both her eyes. Like, she's not rubbing them, like, she's sobbing, like you could see. It's like just streaming down her face. Did you contact anyone else aside from D-Rock? I did. Uncle Paulie. Did you contact anyone?
Dude, I hate when I get a
Why
good
did you
start
contact
to a line
anyone
and then
aside
it
from D-Rock?
fucks up.
I didn't see Rube's phone ringing, meaning like D-Rock.
I think her testimony is definitely the best,
what
but
did
it's
you
like
inform Mr. Offord? Same thing. I said, Paul,
crazy
he's
to
kicking
me
the shit
that
out
the
of
jury
her,
could
and
hear this
help
testimony
her.
and then be like,
she starts like fully choking up.
yeah, it's
Combs
fine.
is completely still. What, if anything, did Mr. Combs tell you after you made these calls? He said, matter of fact, you get the out of my house. Did you leave his house? On foot, yes, I walked. She takes off her glasses. Now, like, her face is completely soaked in tears. Who, if anyone else, did you call when you left the property? Regina Ventura, Cassie's mom. What, if anything, did you inform Miss Ventura? I told her mom, I said, he's beating the shit out of your daughter. I'm in over my head.
We did the
And she starts like really choking up. Please help her. Like, it's like a whining sob. Like, please help her. Like, that's the best way I can try to. I can't call the police.
The queen
And then
is so
she
good at
does
this.
it again. Like, but
Ventura.
you can.
What you doing,
Please
sir?
help
What
her.
you doing right now, Mr. Sir?
It was
What
really
are
rough
you
to
doing right now,
listen
Mr.
to.
Sir?
I think everyone was having a hard time
That's
because
the
I think
evil
it was
kid.
just.
That's
I
evil
think
kid.
a
You're not
lot of
allowed
the
up there, Mr.
testimony so
Evil Kid.
far in the
You're not allowed
courtroom,
on
the
top of there,
emotions
Mr.
don't
Evil Kid.
sink in as quickly because even
What are you
Cassie's testimony, aside from the few times she was very emotional, everything she says is matter of fact, and then like you're so busy trying to understand where we are in the timeline, and then it's like once you get home it soaks in, and then you feel a little heavier, right?
He's a
But in this it's
nuggie.
like all you hear are her sobs like
baby.
echoing in the courtroom, and it's so hard not
He's
to
a
like,
scary nuggie.
like a lot of people are like wincing. After that call, Miss Clark, did you call the police? I did not. Meanwhile, Combs' head is cocked to the left. Why
Much
didn't you
hair all
call the
on my
police?
face now.
The mission of the day was not to get Cuddy to involve the police, so that was certainly counterintuitive. The prosecutor pulls up an email we went over during Cassie's testimony, the one from December 23rd, and the prosecutor asks her to read it out loud. And it sounds like she's being held hostage to read it.
If you
She's just
guys like
constantly
my
wiping her
art, you
tears.
should check out
It's
my
the one that
VTuber. I'm
Cassie
just gonna
writes
take this
to her
moment to
mom
plug
and
Teddy.
Capricorn
Oh my
Clark
god,
about
look
all
at
the threats,
this amazing.
and
Oh
that
my
this-
god, if you
this
like
might be
my
the
art,
least.
check out my
She says
VTuber.
later
You
the
should
arson
go follow
investigator
her.
would reach out to her about Kid Cudi's car, and she just did
Look
not
how
want to talk
cute
to
she
him either.
is.
She said, I just wanted this whole thing to be over, and that was just going to make it worse. She's sobbing out loud. It sounds like she's almost underwater.
Had to do the quick plug.
Following the incident in December of 2011, what, if any, questions did Mr. Combs ask you about Miss Ventura's relationship
Can you not
with
home
Mr.
for lurkers
Muschietti?
anymore?
He asked the same thing. When did I know about it? Why didn't I tell him? She says that
Did they
he's
take it
very,
away?
very angry, and he said, quote, I should kill you and I should cut her face. In the courtroom, Combs slowly closes his eyes and shakes his head no towards the jurors, almost giving like this is absurd.
All right, let's.
How frequently after this incident in December of 2011 was Mr. Combs making threats to you? Approximately how many times? I'd say once we got to December of 2011 into that summer, I would say 50. She does mention that she told the CEO of Bad Boy, Harv Pierre, about it, to which he just says, that's crazy, but it's going to be okay. Capricorn says he also tells her that Capricorn and Cassie can't really be friends anymore, that they can only interact for work. Now, there are other parts of her testimony that were cross-referenced with other testimonies, and it seems like Cassie was not the only one that was participating in freak-offs. I know that in our four-part series that we did before the trial even started, this was in 2024, there were allegations online and rumors circulating that King Porter was also part of the freak-offs. David James, the other assistant, says that he was part of the hotel setups. He called it advancing the hotel. So you go in advance and you make sure it's ready for Combs. He says, in New York City, for example, if he asked me to advance a hotel room, I'd go back to his apartment, I'd get like a Jordan sweatsuit, fresh pair of underwear, some socks, some slides. I'd also bring a toiletry bag, and I would bring the iPod speaker base. And then next to the Trump Hotel, which he loves, there's a Dwayne Reed there, and I'd go get there like a few different food items, applesauce, Jell-O, Fiji water, and then we'd always have some Ciroc vodka and Simply lemonade as well.
I have a bartender full-time that just stands here and makes me my favorite drink. You take 1.5 ounces of Ciroc vodka, 3 ounces of lemonade, shake it up.
To eventually change the hair color, but for now it'll be pink.
Cool, refreshing drink.
Side note, while David is listing out everything Combs likes, Combs is sitting there like nodding ever so slightly, like, yes, okay, checking off the list. Like if someone is recounting your grocery list to them, that's the vibe. David James just continues, basically everything that he may need. He didn't always use these items, but I was always taught to provide everything just in case he needed something. That way he wouldn't need to call you later on. He also needs his infamous Louis Vuitton med bag and that he always carries, according to David. Also $10,000 in cash, sometimes more. When describing the med bag, David says, there were probably 25 to 30 different pill boxes or pill bottles. Some of them were unmarked, so I was not familiar with what they were. Some were just like Advil, Tylenol. He had water pills to make him lose weight. He had a Viagra in there. He had some pills that helped increase his sperm count, for example. He had ecstasy and Percocets in there as well. Side note about those ecstasy pills, he says there were various kinds, but one in particular that stands out is, quote, it was in the shape of a former president's face. Which former president? President Obama.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Lol.
The prosecutor asks David, when you set up these hotel rooms, did Mr. Combs stay in these hotel rooms alone or with others? I don't think Mr. Combs ever stays alone. Who did he stay with? His girlfriend at the time, mostly Cassie, but other women as well. There is an odd moment in David James's cross where Mark Agnifilo starts asking him about all of the traveling and all of the advancing of the hotel rooms, and David James goes into a whole ketchup monologue. When they travel to London, to the United Kingdom, ketchup, Heinz 57 ketchup, like they needed that. I don't know if this is what he's saying. I don't know if you guys have ever been to London before, but the ketchup in the UK is not similar to the ketchup in America. He would not be happy. I mean, ketchup was a big item that he always needed for his food, so it's just the consistency to create a consistent environment. So during this ketchup rant, Combs is just like smiling and happily nodding along, and everybody's in a lighter mood. But then it goes from ketchup to applesauce. Side note, he eats applesauce on his cheeseburgers. Like he eats applesauce with a lot of things. Then the conversation goes from ketchup to applesauce to Astroglide and baby oil. And at this point, I think Combs is uncomfortable with the sudden emotional shift because he raises his hands at the mention of baby oil. He rubs them in his lap like he's putting lotion on. But then he like realizes it's weird because he's not putting lotion on, so then he puts them in prayer hands, and then he leans his head forward, presses his forehead into his fingers, and then moves on. It was just like a very odd set of movements. Weird. I felt like he was instinctively rubbing his hands, but thought it would be perceived weird, so he carries out the rest of this awkward set of movements.
Yes.
Starting a business is very scary. One day you're so excited about your big idea, and then the next day you're just Googling how to figure out shipping rates at 2 a.m. while you're also wondering if your website looks terrible. I mean, trust me, I've been there before. My family and I launched a small business selling limited edition artwork at Grandpa Mango's studio, and we were completely unprepared. It felt like the business was running us instead of us running the business. Thankfully, we found Shopify. They are the all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow a business online or in person. person. Create a stunning platform that's made to sell and matches all your business dreams. You can design fast with AI, choose a stylish theme, or build completely custom for full control. One of my favorite parts was Shopify Admin. From back office to front of store, you're always in control with the fully centralized Shopify Admin. My mornings went from waking up super scattered and having all these notifications to having a very clear dashboard that showed me exactly what needs attention. Sign up for your $1 per month trial.
Dude, it's like so painstakingly annoying to color my line art, but like
shopify.com/rotten. Shopify.com/rotten.
So it's worth.
Now, Capricorn Clark also testifies that she advanced many a hotel rooms, but she said mainly it was for
the clothes yet, so
Combs and Kim
color
Porter.
stuff.
How frequently would he stay at a hotel with Ms. Porter? Once a week. And what, if anything, was your role with respect to hotels when Mr. Combs would travel? To pack and bring and unpack his personal effects? And what did those belongings include? Clothes, toiletry bag, and camera bag? Camera box, actually. Camera box? It was a silver, like at the time it was a silver, 45 record carrier repurposed, and it had 3 click-in, like 3 point-and-shoot cameras and 1 small mini DV camera.
Dude, I
was
love
there anything else in the camera bag? A small bottle of baby oil and a small bottle of lube. What, if any, lighting was used in the hotel? No lighting. We brought his diptyque candles. That was that. She says on every single hotel trip with Kim Porter, they would have to bring that camera bag 100% of the time. What, if any, responsibilities did you have after one of Mr. Combs' hotel stays? To pack up his belongings and sweep the room for anything that might be left behind? What, if any, damage did you observe in the hotel rooms after his stays? Just baby oil. At the Intercontinental, I would see like handprints in oil on the ultra suede walls. Yeah. How frequently did you observe damage from baby oil in the rooms? Frequently, but it was a lot like
from baby oil.
It was just a lot of baby oil. It was just everywhere.
Happen if
it
you
wasn't
use coconut
necessarily
oil
only on the walls. And if he would, which women would he bring to hotels most frequently at the time? Kim Porter.
Oh my God, we got
Cassie
multiple
Ventura.
hunters.
This
We got a hunter gathering.
When Capricorn is talking about freak-offs with Kim Porter. The kids
Thank
are not
you very
there.
much.
Sean
Holy
Combs'
shit.
mother is there, and she's just frozen, just listening. Later, Capricorn
Also, yes,
says she was
30-minute
fired
notice.
for not applying properly for vacation time, but she thinks it's probably because she kept mentioning all the threats. And
How much
what do you
longer
recall,
do we have
Mr.
on?
Combs, in these discussions following your termination?
Oof.
That I would never work again, that he would show me that all these people weren't my friends, that he would make me kill myself. In the courtroom, Combs scratches his left cheek with his left hand.
I'm technically supposed to end stream right
Scratches
now.
his face. This is the interesting
50
part. Later,
minutes?
Capricorn is asked if she reached out to Combs' attorneys, and she says yes.
No.
In which a settlement is reached, but this
It's
was in
30
her
minutes. It's
previous
30
termination,
minutes.
wrongful termination. So she
I'm
quit,
technically
got
supposed to end
terminated,
stream
and
right
rehired
now.
so many times, but on one of the occasions, she did get paid. So she's asked by the prosecution, under the terms of the agreement, approximately how much were you paid for? I'm going to object, Judge. Which is so fascinating.
Like an
because
hour
of everything
left.
the defense has
This
been
is a long
so
one.
passionate
Okay,
about women who
let's
receive
pause
money
here.
from Sean Combs.
I will
They've
pause
been very
directly
passionate
at
about the
38.
figures and passionate about the demands that were made, and suddenly
Or
they
39.
do not want Capricorn to release how much she settled for.
All right.
There's probably a few reasons
5,
for it.
4,
Probably
3,
one, because it was
2,
such a low
1.
amount that
Pause.
it was.
Nice. All right. Okay, chat. Well, I need to go stretch my feet before the next stream. But if you enjoy my art, we will be doing more art on the next stream. Just because I'm trying to be productive as we're streaming. But we will be working on. Well, okay, we're technically working on this, but that doesn't do it justice. We're gonna be working on rendering this. Ah, she's glitching. Okay. We're gonna render this. We're gonna be working on her chibi model. So, if you like, come hang out. Should be fun. We will do it more. It'll be in 30 minutes. I will link you really quick. Come hang out with me in the next stream, alright? Alright. Alright. Oh, I can raid the next stream. You're right. Wait, how do I do that? How? 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 Wait, hold on. If I can figure that how to do that really quickly, I'm definitely gonna do that. Cause yeah, no, I'm pretty sure you can raid, but I don't know how to. I've never actually tried to. No, I'm pretty sure they added it a few years ago, but I don't know how. Yeah, I see people do it all the time. I've been raided before on YouTube. I don't know how the fuck you do it. Anyway, just yeah. I don't know how. Anyway, here, just... There. Go to the link. I don't see a button. Yeah, manual rating. Anyway, go hang out with Teddy. I will put her music up during the break, so it'll be a long music, but all right. See you over there. Enjoy the outro. Bye. See you in the next stream. Also, I'll be back on Twitch around 5:30 tonight if you want to hang out with me again. And I don't know what we're gonna do. Probably some Hello Kitty Island adventure, maybe some more art, who fucking knows, but it'll be fun. Okay, bye! See you soon.